Professional stream, here we go.
Yay, we're back. Okay.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
I didn't see it on here.
It's going to take a second for it to load up for
okay.
us, but we're back. Otherwise, like, they'd be staring at us like, oh, we're back.
Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Yep. But yeah, back to what I was saying about Smash Brothers. It's kind of striked its own genre, really, in the fighting game scene. I mean, especially for a game that's based off of like a Nintendo system, to still be featured alongside like things like Tekken and Street Fighter, like all these other big fighting games like Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, it is one of them, like coming from the Nintendo 64, like starting from back then. But I mean, we're focusing mostly on the one on the GameCube or Wii right now, but that's, or no, it is GameCube. My apologies. Yeah, but I mean, even since Melee, and even now Melee, if you look on Twitch, it's higher than Brawl. It's higher than Wii U. It's higher than both of the two new things that have come out since it. There are still more people that play Melee because of Project M, which we'll talk about later. But that game has survived and surpassed even its own predecessors, which is crazy. So, I mean, that's all I have to say about that game. It's a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, I'm super surprised. You've probably been living under a rock. But that's Super Smash Bros. Melee, man. It's fucking awesome.
Mark, opening statements.
This is tough for me because I like Smash Brothers. Mass Effect 2. The only game that made me impulse buy a 360 when my Xbox red ringed in the middle of a playthrough. that in and of itself should sort of tell you the story of my love affair with this game. Mass Effect 2, I choose 2 because it is it's the Empire Strikes Back of the Mass Effect trilogy. It's the darkest one. It's the most at stake, the most dire from a narrative perspective. It also offered the most sense of choice. I remember when the game debuted and the trailer was that guy you played as, or that girl in the first Mass Effect. All of your choices and all of your decisions and some of the people you killed and some of the people you saved, your playthrough is going to entirely depend on what you've done before. Oh yeah, and we killed that person. So immediately you're intrigued going, okay, if all that stuff still matters but my main character is dead, how? You boot up the game and Shepard's dead in the first 10 minutes of the game. And it kind of gives you a chance for a rebirth and a recycle, but all of the decisions that you've made throughout the galaxy are still permeating through your playthrough. This is your universe. And it was never more clear than when you're about 2 hours into Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and you start to meet some of these old characters. Mass Effect 2 improved on Mass Effect 1 in almost every important category. Gameplay, just dialogue options, story quality. But it also did its fair share of kind of lowering the bar in some places to make it a bit more accessible for people that maybe they aren't huge RPG fans. Mass Effect 2 was my favorite game of, was that Gen 5? I don't know if that was Gen 5. Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era. That was my favorite game of that generation.
The new
Gen 8, so Gen 7.
Gen 8, so Gen 7.
So Gen 7, whatever that gen is, dude. My favorite game of that 8-year run of that Xbox 360. And I still have that in my top 5 favorite games of all time.
Awesome. The reception. This is going to be sales, critical acclaim, cult following, any kind of awards is all relevant towards reception. Joe, if you want to take that.
Sure. I mean, Melee came out, I want to say, was it 2001?
It came out 2 months after the GameCube came out.
Pretty sure
So
that was
2001.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 01. In the time that it did, it sold 250,000 copies before the end of the week. The game came out on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
Either Sunday or Tuesday.
It was a Sunday or something like that. It came out like around there, and it sold out like 250,000 copies in Japan. When it made it over to the US, in the first week, it sold over 1 million copies.
Awesome.
Like it has gone down in history as the 19th best-selling copy of the game, or 19th best-selling game on the GameCube. Like,
Okay.
for its time. Period. At the end of 2001, a lot of different companies gave it a lot of different awards. I mean, it sat on the top of a lot of lists. I know for the year's top 200 games, it finished like 92, which is not the best, but I mean, hell,
Being on that list at all.
being on
is
that
good.
list at all, exactly. So I mean, it was definitely received very, very well. It's a phenomenal game, and it's kind of like a household name at this point. Like, you know what Super Smash Brothers is.
It wasn't always that way, though.
It was not always that way. I mean, even the first Super Smash Brothers, it was fun, and like the commercials made it hilarious. I don't know if you guys remember the fucking
They're tripping each other.
tripping each other and like walking in the field. But I mean, it was fun. It wasn't until Melee that it became fun and competitive. And Melee was the first game that it made the fighting game community realize, hey, look, this is a legitimate game that is competitive, and people made it. Now, the funny thing about that is they never intended for that to happen. Sakurai and those guys, they never intended for the game to be a competitive fighter. They always wanted it to be just a fun game on the Wii, or a fun game on whatever Nintendo system was at the time. And since then, I mean, it's just evolved into this juggernaut of a fighting game scene. I mean, even this past EVO in 2015, game's been out for what? 14 years, I guess?
Were they playing Melee? At that one?
Melee had a tournament at EVO 15.
Didn't the new one have one too, right?
Yeah, Wii U had one too. Both of them had it, which is insane.
Yeah,
Like,
that is-
the thing I guess to note there is Brawl didn't have one.
Yeah.
Melee did. Like, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been received well, and it's still being received well. I mean, the community itself hasn't died. Like, it's still here.
Is the fix in?
I think so.
Fix?
You just voted.
The people are voting, but it's not like it was only showing up
Well, for one guy, he tried to vote and he couldn't catch it.
Yeah.
That's struck.
Okay, that's fine. We'll
It
pay
did-
attention to that later.
And it wouldn't be just ME, it would be Me Too.
Yeah.
ME2 for voting for Mass Effect.
No, apparently ME votes for Mass Effect.
Really?
It
Okay.
might be close enough, or it might register it as a.
Oh, that's cool.
recognized
He was
thing.
doing ME2 and it didn't work. When did
Well,
ME
then
That's fine.
never
We'll get there.
mind.
We'll
We'll
get
see.
there.
Cool. So you want to go with reception?
Reception. This game is one that I want to say stood the test of time, but it's only been out for 5 years. Metacritic, which is it's an aggregate site. I know that we all know what it is, but if anybody doesn't, it's an aggregate site that takes user reviews and official reviews and creates an average. Sitting pretty good, pretty fresh at the top, 94 out of 100. The Xbox 360 version of the game is actually 96 out of 100. This is a game that when it came out received critical acclaim from every outlet that touched it. I remember G4 and X-Play at the time had a half-hour special dedicated to the game, just showing you some of the newer features and beyond that, kind of giving you a glimpse of the story. That was what we all wanted. We all wanted to see Shepard's story and what the choices we made in the first game, affected later on. It won countless awards. It actually won the DICE. They do like a game development, the DICE Awards. It actually won a couple of interactive achievement awards. Game of the Year, role playing Game of the Year, outstanding achievement story. The Spike Video Game Awards, which maybe it's not the most prestigious thing in the world, but hey, people are watching this shit.
It was cool.
It got Best Xbox 360 Game and Best RPG that year. BioWare also got Studio of the Year for their work on Mass Effect 2. And I think, I don't remember if that was Montreal or not. I want to say it was BioWare Montreal that did Mass Effect. But just an incredibly talented team up there getting recognized for what they did. Mass Effect 2 continued to gain awards even after it released on PS3. A year later, it was considered to be the quintessential version of the game because it ran on a different engine.
Yeah.
Like a modified version of the Mass Effect 3 engine had all the DLC built in. Cerberus Network was kind of like their you have to register to get the content thing. not super user friendly. That was really downplayed in the PS3 version, and that continued to get awards. It won a Best Game at the 2011 British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards. At the GDC Awards, Best Writing for its narrative and its story. And then the Golden Joystick Awards, Best RPG of the Year and Ultimate Game of the Year. That greatest video games of all time list that you cite, Mass Effect is one of those, and don't have exactly what it ranked here on that one, but they said it was within the top 80. Mass Effect 2, much like another game we'll be talking about later on, was also featured at the Smithsonian. IGN ranked it as number 1 of its top 100 modern video games of all time. Modern video games being from PlayStation onward.
Okay.
So they didn't include 16 to 8
Yeah.
all that stuff.
I don't mean to interrupt. Didn't Mass Effect 2 have 2 million lines of dialogue recorded for it?
Yeah.
Something insane.
It was something
That's
like
ridiculous.
eight times the entire Sopranos run of scripts.
Oh my god.
Because there were so many different options.
Yeah.
And look, what other game are you going to be able to play where a reporter comes up to you and starts getting snarky with you and you punch her in the face?
That's crazy. That's
Being able to choose between Paragon and Renegade, and that's not even about reception, but shit, that's awesome.
Cool. And I've were you done? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, you know what?
No. Keep going.
No, I think it's damn good.
It's damn good.
It's damn good.
So you guys are already voting up here. Just reminder, if you want to vote, it's right above their heads. How to do it? You hit ! Vote, and then depending on which one you want to vote for, it's either ME2 or SSBM
well, apparently.
or ME.
There's a problem with the voting system. It's only recording ME.
Millennium Edition.
The bot realizes if you mess up, and it will
So it's self-aware now.
It's
is what
got
I'm
your
trying to
back.
say.
Yeah, it's
That's
learning.
awesome.
It's
Skynet is happening.
It's learning.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we have portal guns, so it's okay. We'll be good.
So another category that we're going to go into is replayability. Joe.
No, you cannot play Super Smash Bros. More than once.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you only can play it once.
It
a
You
has-
year.
get one chance.
It has this
It
story
doesn't
mode,
boot up
and
again.
It's
once you get through the story
a
mode,
good story though.
it's a pretty good story.
Dude, I
No,
love the
fuck that.
classic mode in that.
That's it.
Fuck you guys. That was great.
Not only can you play through this game with multiplayer, and it's a fighting game, so every time you play it, it's going to be something different. It did have a fucking story mode and challenge missions and time trials and fucking home run.
Home run.
Oh my god!
Home run contest.
Fucking Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean there was so much stuff for you to do in the game. Like you had all those different mini games. It has something in this game that they took out in the subsequent game, which really pissed me off.
Play Minecraft with the HoloLens.
What?
Sorry. Windows just sent that to me.
Okay.
It's a cat on a T-Rex play Minecraft with HoloLens.
We're sorry for the interruption. Neil stopped us to show us a picture of a cat on top of a Tyrannosaurus playing Minecraft with a HoloLens.
Look, I don't object to the premise,
Hold
but
on.
Exactly.
That picture's just amazing.
yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Back on track.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Continue, Joe.
Lost my train of thought. Okay. No, they had something in the game that they took out from the subsequent games, which really pissed me off. There was an adventure mode. Do you guys remember?
It was yeah.
Yeah, and
it wasn't that. It was like an adventure mode with side-scrolling Mario levels and shit.
It was fucking amazing. It was great. And it took time to actually get through. Like I don't understand.
You had to escape. What has this Zebus or Zebes or whatever? I'm not a big Metroid fan, but
Oh, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yes.
you had to do that,
was
jump
fun.
out of it, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and it was awesome. I mean, even that took you a lot of time to finish, and if you wanted to do like the time trials, it took you a hell of a lot of time to get that down. So I mean, not even counting the regular fighting game side of things, like just
Plenty of content.
the game itself in a total, like it's just ridiculous amount of content. I mean, I guarantee if I picked that game up today, it would still take me around at least 5 to 6 hours to do everything, if that. Probably more than that, to be quite honest.
Oh, for the side stuff.
The
Well,
side
in
stuff.
order to unlock Mewtwo, you had to stop and play for 12 hours or play 5 hours.
Yeah, you could just leave the system on for
You just leave
12
Mewtwo
hours.
on.
Oh, it was by
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah,
not
you go to
matches.
sleep and in the morning
Yeah,
you fight Mewtwo
it was based off of time. So like people like before they went to a tournament, they're like, "Oh man, I just bought a new copy of the game." So like the day before, they just turn their system on, put two human players in the game, and just have them not fight each other, no time limit, and just let them sit there.
Oh wow!
Because it was like based off the total amount of time that you played like a game. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
All right.
Replayability for Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I have the answer to that question for you. But
great. Yeah, lay it on me.
it was the first one that had multiplayer. So, I mean, they had that.
There's also the fact that there's many decisions.
That too.
I think, did 2 have multiplayer or did 3 have multiplayer?
I feel like 2 may have had multiplayer.
I think 3 had multiplayer.
Really?
Because I remember playing multiplayer. I'm not sure. I'm going to give you some replay. You are going to not only want to play replay, or want to replay 2 a bunch of times, you're going to want to replay the entire series because the level of different just mixing and matching of the content. Do the Geth live or die? Did you save the Rachni
Different
Queen?
outcomes.
Did you punch that bitch in the face? Did you do this? Did you do that?
She was indeed a bitch.
She was. Guys, I'm not. It's not a sexist thing. Like, she was really rude.
You took out the people at the bay, like when you...
Yeah, and she walks in and she's just like, "Why are you such an asshole?" And she puts the microphone in his
do
face.
you know who I am?
If you pull the right trigger, it's the renegade reaction, and he just punches her.
not the right trigger, the right.
The correct trigger.
I thought it was the right trigger.
I made 2 renegade choices in that entire playthrough, and that was one of them. And the other one was just to shoot somebody where they stood. And that is why you want to replay it, because there are so many pivotal moments in this game that affect your future playthroughs and the next game in the series.
That's great.
Just by what you decide to do. Did I save the Rachni Queen in 1? Great. If I did, in 3, I have those guys as a resource that are going to help me fight the Reapers. If in 2, if I have a specific relationship with this person, I'll get better... From 1, I'll get better weapons later on. The DLC in that game, I think it was called like Lair of the Shadow Broker. I think that might have been 3. No, I think that was 2. Incredible DLC that added story and playable characters to what was already an incredibly fleshed out galaxy. You go back and you play it as a Paragon, a good guy. You go back and play it as a Renegade, a bad guy. You can go back and play it as you. You find out a lot about yourself. Everything you do in that game carries on. Okay, now I know Mass Effect 3's ending sucked. I'm talking about Mass Effect 2. Baby.
That is true.
And based on the decisions that you've made and the relationships that you have, maybe you don't survive that game, and you don't get to play 3 because fuck you.
So
it's your fault. It's your fault.
We were informed by Dr. Chaos and Potter that Mass Effect 2 did not have multiplayer. It's just 3.
Yeah. I remember playing a lot of that. Yeah, I remember playing a lot of that multiplayer on 3, but 2 was a solo affair.
Solo dolo.
But it didn't feel like it because you know what? I had 12 party members.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
replayability. A big category also is innovation, which we're going to be talking about later, Mark.
Oh yeah, baby. Where's my bandana?
Innovation, Joe. Where do you have it? Do you have any on you right now?
I don't think.
Do you have any innovation? Y'all got any more of that innovation?
No, I mean, graphically, the game was insanely impressive compared to like the original Smash Brothers. I mean, the original Smash Brothers was like literally triangles fighting each other. You could tell that it was Mario, but like he had like a fucking square for a hand.
It was rough.
It was pretty bad on the eyes. Like back then, it was probably, oh my god, this is amazing, best graphics in A. But I mean, graphically, it was pretty phenomenal for the system in itself. When you did like the 100-man challenge thing, it literally rendered like hundreds of different dudes coming at you, and well, dudes and females, wireframe dudes and females coming at you, and you'd have to like beat them. And I mean, it did that on this is a GameCube. So I mean, like hardware-wise or software, I guess, pushing the hardware, it definitely did that. I will go ahead and say that, yeah, it did pretty much follow the same formula of the first one, minus the new mini games, minus the new adventure mode, all that stuff. Those things it did new. Why they haven't continued that with the rest of the franchise, I don't know. To be quite honest, I have no idea why they haven't done that. But
didn't they have anything in the 3DS version?
No, they have like a board game looking adventure mode thing,
that's something.
but it's not the same. What I want is what we had before.
That's in the Wii U as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Both of them have the same thing. It's just it's like a lackluster version of the
That
of the
sucks.
adventure mode, which does sucks. But I
We're
mean,
not talking about that game.
we're not. We're talking about Melee, and Melee so far. I mean, it's if anything, it showed that the system itself doesn't handicap a developer to make a good fighting game. And since then, we've seen a lot of smaller developers with things like Arcana Heart. You see that kind of showing back up. Skullgirls, Dive Kick, which was primarily made for PC. I mean, these games that maybe not are on like a fight stick or anything like that, that don't have the same mechanics of Street Fighter or Tekken or Soul Calibur, all those things, but it can be a big competitor. So I mean, I think
Lethal League falls in that category too.
Lethal League, yeah, it definitely does. Like it all these games that are like, hey guys, we don't do the quarter circle thing, but
Look,
here
when,
we
when
have something
Sony
else.
straight up makes a full-blown rip-off of your game,
that's true.
a complete,
It's very, very blatant.
like, not just like
PlayStation
like
Battle
blatant,
Royale.
like to the eye,
As
but
Sony
like
does.
Yeah.
entirely ripped off that game. The concept, conceptually, everything. We're gonna use our character.
Sony,
Hey, Lone
loves,
Wolf.
Sony loves Nintendo.
So, hey, you know what?
Wire dudes.
It's all good in the Far East.
But yeah, I mean, I think it ushered in an age of like people trying to do revolutionary ideas for fighting games because they realized that the fighting game community would see it as it is, as a fighting game, and embrace it that way, and they have. I mean, there's still dive kick tournaments, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's a fun. I love that.
Yeah,
It's fun.
like Ken was playing in one the other day. I walked in and he's like,
What?
the bracket was up and everything, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm playing a tournament." I was like, "What?"
When I saw Seth cross his arms,
Yeah.
I got excited because that's how I play Street Fighter. I cross my arms.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go in and out, crossing, uncrossing my arms. when
Really?
I play Street Fighter. Yep.
I gotta
Like
see
the
that.
DDR equivalent.
I need to see that. I didn't know anyone actually played like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he plays like that. Seth
Really?
plays like that. That's why he's like that.
That's
what
like
I
my
heard.
favorite character in the game until they fucked him up.
Well, they nerfed him or something.
He doesn't teleport anymore. He
Garbage.
like yeah.
I know that we don't.
Is there still a? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
there's-
I mean, and it was just at the biggest fighting game
yeah.
tournament in the
It
world.
was still at 2015, couple like last week, right?
Yeah.
That's Evo. There was still a
3 days ago.
three days.
Yeah, it was 3 days ago.
Really?
Melee.
3 days ago, and 1,800 people signed up for the Super Smash Brothers Melee.
They had the biggest.
1,800.
I think they had the biggest. That was the biggest entry.
This
of
category
that.
is
Innovation.
innovation.
Innovation,
Okay, I'm sorry. Here's one last
Uh-oh,
thing to throw in
uh-oh.
here. There's this thing called Project M.
But okay, that's for Brawl.
It is for Brawl.
Yes.
Snap.
But let me explain
Yeah.
why I'm saying M.
Yeah.
Brawl had so many things wrong with it. They made Project M to replicate Melee in Brawl.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's a
like
fair link.
the
Eliminated tripping.
it eliminated tripping.
Sped up the game.
It respect the game. It allowed like people to play characters the way that they were back in Melee. And this isn't something that, and I don't want to say, oh, this is Melee. This is something that like the fans realized that hey, this game has a problem. They went in, fixed it, and then did it. And
They added
So-
brand new characters to that too.
right.
Brand new characters with their own. Why am I arguing for you? brand new characters with their own movesets, and they went and they changed things like Ganondorf in there has a hover now.
Yep.
You know they've really spent a lot of time. And it's morphed from here's Brawl's graphics with Melee's like physics and fighting style, or at least a close approximation.
Yeah.
To we've turned it into kind of our own, crowdsourced version of Smash Brothers. And you know what, guys? If you got a Wii, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. You literally download the packet onto
Right.
an SD card, you plug it in, and you go into Brawl's level editor, and it launches.
Yep.
It's that simple.
But what about your game?
What about my game? Casey Hudson was the lead on the Mass Effect series, or at least the trilogy. He's a goddamn visionary. He's since left BioWare.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate his support.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See, it's giving it to him.
I'll take it. No. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We can kill it and have a revote.
Right.
Yeah.
We can count the chads later.
Oh.
Wow, where was I? Innovation.
Innovation.
It's Florida 2000 Gore Bush kind of chads. Yeah, that's all right. I'm old. Political. Yeah, Chad's like our new mascot.
We should make a cartoon guy that looks like Joe. It's called Chad.
As I said, Casey Hudson is a visionary, and all of these things that guys like Peter Molyneux say about Fable, about you're going to plant a tree and it's going to grow. That's great, but shit like that just doesn't happen in like real time, and sometimes these guys dream a little bit bigger than what technology is capable of, and that's fine, because we can eventually catch up to that. Casey Hudson said when Mass Effect launched that this is going to be one of our biggest and best efforts of all time. This is BioWare. These are the guys that did like Baldur's Gate and all these wonderful RPGs. They did Jade Empire. They did Knights of the Republic, and we're playing these games. These amazing games. They said now we're going to create our own original IP, and you're going to play this game, and everything that we do is going to go forward into future games. You're going to create your own universe, and then when you go to the store and buy your retail copy of Mass Effect 2, you are going to have a completely different attachment, level of attachment, and you're going to have a little bit of a different experience too, because there are going to be some parts of the world that you just don't see that other people do.
Yeah.
Your quest is going to bring you to different places. You're going to meet different people. You're going to build different relationships. You're going to fall in love with the AI on the Normandy that the dude in the chat did. These things happen, and then the production value that they put to it. I think I don't want to show my cards for later. I think there's a game that we can thank for high movie level production value in AAA games.
This is true.
I'm pimping this shit. Tetris, yeah. And this game, like we spoke on,
dude.
David mentioned that there's just a metric butt ton, and I think that's the actual level of measurement of dialogue in this game.
Very scientific.
And it's you will never see all of it in one playthrough. And developers are so nervous about wasting resources on things that you might not see. And this was a game that wasn't afraid to do that. And this was a series that wasn't afraid to do that. And this game, with its 8 different endings, and with most of it in which the main character dies, played a very dangerous game in that if my main character died, I don't want to go through the trouble of going through and playing 2 all over again or doing a different thing because maybe something I did in 1 set that off.
It was high risk.
I don't want to go through and do that again. I don't want to play 3. But they did it anyway, and people fell in love with this this universe. And you know what? It wasn't the first RPG. It wasn't the first Western RPG. It wasn't the first RPG BioWare did. But this was their pinnacle.
Was the basically the things carrying over from game to game? Was that something that had been done before?
It's something that has been tested. I mean, even
Right.
games like Banjo-Kazooie tried to do that, but the RAM wasn't up to snuff on the N64 at the time.
I mean, here's the thing.
the only ones that pulled it off.
A lot of
Yeah.
times, like
Or the
one
first
of my
ones.
favorite games, Golden Sun, they did that.
Yep.
Okay.
But the way they did it was after you finished the game, the way you played through the game generated a code,
Yep.
a fucking long code,
Yep.
Okay.
and you had to like type that thing
And it flicks
into
switches.
the new one. And if you messed up one letter or one number,
Yeah.
just didn't work.
So
So,
it was
yeah.
the first one to just do it like,
Seamlessly.
out the box.
It took your save, and it even took the customization that you did to the person and changed everything about like your base character in 2 to look like your guy in 1. Even though it was a different graphics engine, they said, okay, here's what you did to that guy. Now this is your guy right here. And it's pretty close, right? Awesome.
Because they don't do that now, like with newer games. At least not often that I know of. I
Right.
haven't seen any AAA games.
I
do
haven't
that.
seen someone do that successfully since then.
Yeah.
Besides them and their franchise in Dragon Age, that's about it.
And they made Dragon.
Yeah,
Age.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
Bio,
the same.
like that was their baby. They said, here's our sci-fi and here's our fantasy. And this was a game that did this seamlessly. All you needed to do was have the save. And then when 2 came over to PS3, and everyone was like, man, this is the best version of the game, but we can't play 1. They said, okay, well, we'll put a comic book of every event in one, not just the important shit. Not like when you sit down to get your hair cut in Witcher, when they ask you a couple of questions.
That was so like.
I like how
up,
slick it was.
Everything up to that point was just like, okay, game, and then you got to that and you're just like, oh, okay.
They're like, so what did you think about this person? Did you kill them? And you're just like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, they're definitely dead. But in Mass Effect, they said, here's a full length, like several hundred page, and it might be exaggerating, comic book of the story of Mass Effect 1, and all the major decisions were there for you to make. So you got like a 5-hour piece of entertainment to enjoy before you actually played the game, and it acted as a story primer. I want to do it again, but I can't. Which was also found in other games.
Here's a fun fact that I didn't know.
To get you set
Potter for Mass Effect.
Oh, okay.
Potter is saying, and this makes sense because they did KOTOR.
Yep.
Mass Effect was the Star Wars game that they wanted to really make.
Yes.
I didn't think about
That's
that
really
at all.
cool.
Yes.
That's a really cool tidbit.
I didn't even
know
think about that at all. Fucking Potter with all these like connections.
EA only
Thank you,
recently,
Potter. Thank you, Potter.
EA recently reacquired.
Reminiscent of what were all the games with Kyle? The original games with Kyle, where it was the first-person shooters.
Kyle Katarn.
Yeah. It was the
Academy?
The Force Unleashed.
no. Academy was in the line of that.
It was Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight,
What's up,
the very
Corey?
first Jedi Knight game was like a Mass Effect game.
The Mass Effect. A little aside, the Star Wars license. EA only recently reacquired that, and for a while, LucasArts shut that shit down.
Yeah.
It was right around that period of time after. Right around. No, it was before that.
Oh, okay.
Force Unleashed came out, and then they shut it down, and they said we are the only ones who are going to be making Star Wars games.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of ones got the axe, and EA, well, not EA, but BioWare was planning on doing a current gen like KOTOR type game, and that didn't happen.
They
We got
lost
Mass
out because
Effect,
of that. That was a
and
bad
I'm
decision.
way happier.
Yeah.
And then BioWare ended up getting the ability to do the MMO, which is like KOTOR 3 through 10.
Yep.
But no, really, if you do like a single player run of that MMO, like you don't need to group up one single bit, but you get all the BioWare story goodness. It's great. And it's like the one piece of EU that hasn't been like completely just assaulted by Disney. EU is no longer canon, which is okay. That's fine. Okay, I'm not talking about the expanded universe.
All right. That was your innovation?
Yeah.
Impact. What has your game, what impact did it have on either the genre or the industry as a whole?
I kind of hinted at this in the opening statements, but it kind of breathed life to a subgenre. I think that's the best way to kind of go about saying it. Where now you have these new style fighters like that are not the status quo of Street Fighter, like your regular 2D fighters. I mean, even now, I think what they call them is 2.5 fighters,
Yeah.
2.5D fighters.
3D background, 2D plane.
Right. And I mean, even technically the game is still in like 3D. It's just like you're on a 2D plane.
No
But
sidestepping.
right, no, yeah,
That's for bitches, to be fair.
for bitches. You don't play a lot of Soul Calibur.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it spawned this entire like kind of craze. I mean, even not counting the new games that came out just on its own, like we said, I mean, it's still around. Like it's not dead, and it's been out for 14 years. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, its impact is it's really hard to put like a single thought on it, just because it's done its own thing in the realm of Smash Brother world, and it's also been able to bring about things like
Sony
and fucking PlayStation
All-Stars?
All-Stars
Yeah.
Battle Royale, longest name ever.
PlayStation Fail Stars.
I really hate that game. I don't know
It
if
was
you guys
like the
played it.
Cartoon Network mashup on the 360.
There's another one that's exactly like that. Now we have
TMNT. Did we mention that?
yeah, that one's just like that too. I forgot
On the
about
Wii.
those.
The TMNT one was really good.
That one was really good, actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
didn't get enough.
It was underrated.
Yeah. But I didn't think about the Cartoon Network Punch Down thing. That was exactly like that. They did. It spawned stuff in Japan. You got Jump Ultimate Stars. Those have been crazy over there, and we're just finally kind of catching up over
Brawlhalla.
here. Brawlhalla
you're playing
now.
that right now.
Yeah,
Check it out. That game's cool.
Yeah, I streamed that a couple of days ago. It's fucking great. It's awesome. But I mean, even now, to the point where Brawlhalla has pretty much to the core
Whoop.
copied Smash Brothers in such a way that they even marketed it that way, and the game is insanely successful. Like it made this genre that now people can be a part of. So
I hear sirens.
I hear sirens. But yeah, I mean, is that fucking popular? The cops are coming for it. I don't know.
I got warrants.
I got warrants. I should let you know. I have warrants.
I'll let you guys go right now. I'll turn all you bastards in for free money.
Dog, Neil the Bounty Hunter.
I'm not
Mark.
Mexican. I'm Puerto Rican, Neil. They can't.
Impact.
This is TNA Impact. Okay, got it.
They'll believe me if I tell you you're Mexican.
The Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2.
You'll get deported before I do.
Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. That series started at a time where I think it started in 2007. There weren't a whole ton of super popular Western RPGs. And I look at that as kind of like a whole series. I know I'm arguing for 2 because I consider 2, and I think many do, to be the zenith of the series.
Yep.
It is the pinnacle of that series, the Empire Strikes Back of that series, and it's one of my favorite games.
Although I do feel like people give 2 the crown just because of the ending of 3, and 3 as a whole was a fucking great
3
game.
was very good. I'm not sure from a content perspective if there was just less than 3 because I finished 3 a lot quicker.
Faster.
But I did everything, so I don't know if it just felt that way. But the feeling I had when I finished 2 was I want to go back and play it again. This game is awesome. I had to play it again. And many other people felt that way too. And I don't have it on hand, but they released BioWare released one of those infographics about how many hours have been put into the game and how many people made this decision, how many people were in love with that person. And it was staggering to look at that. And the game had only been out for about a month at that point.
Telltale took that from them essentially, right? Where they
and you
put
know
that
what?
in the game.
Let them take stuff because that's like the coolest thing where they're just like, hey. You know, we know this game isn't online, but we've been watching everything that you do.
Most friendly debate.
I know. I don't want to like hug it out at the end.
I like your game.
This is hard. And when I found out Mass Effect, I'm like, I love Mass Effect. It's my favorite game. Just going up against Smash Brothers.
We didn't know we were going to be doing this.
I was like, where are my teeth? Like, I can't bite into Smash Brothers. All I can do is just be quiet about it, and I couldn't even do that.
No.
But these are some top notch games and. Mass Effect 2, like I said, that's the very first game that made me go out and impulse buy a console. This was before the Slim came out. It was like at $350 for an Elite or whatever. The impact of that game, not just on the industry as a whole, because this is something that Mass Effect 1 kind of greased the skids for a lot of Western RPGs to come in here and really kick some ass. But Mass Effect 2 showed you that you could be a casual gamer and enjoy an incredibly deep and fulfilling and rich story and universe and feel like you're a part of it. And I'm not saying that it inspired Skyrim in any way, but I think a lot of that audience that started playing Dragon Age and started playing Mass Effect 2, a lot of that audience is some of the audience that came over to games like Skyrim and even Far Cry.
All those dude bros.
All those dude bros that started buying games like
Scrim.
Scrim. You have Scrim.
You got that Scrim.
You got what? You got Scrim. When you go in, it was 2009 to like 2013, dude. We could have put a turd in a box on the shelf and somebody was going to buy it. No. Because of
I did that.
The level of quality of these games that came out during this period, Mass Effect 2 is one of them. It's definitely a game.
It's definitely a game.
All right, guys, we're gonna remind you how to vote. Right above their heads, it's !vote me too or !vote SSBM. Excuse me. Ooh, awesome. We're gonna fix that, right?
What happened?
So invalid vote.
Invalid.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
Man, we're voting for the Mexicans.
Hey, don't remember, guys. Mass Effect taught you that you could control 3 characters at once, and it wasn't hard.
yeah. Technically, Star Wars did that.
Star Wars did do that.
Yeah.
And more people bought Mass Effect.
See what you've done, Neil. You see what you've done.
So, closing arguments.
So,
Jill, let's start off with your closing argument.
Brink. It was called Brink. Poop on the shelf.
Yeah. Brink was the poop.
That's good.
No, I mean it's Smash Brothers, man. I mean everybody knows it. Like I said, it's a household name now. Like there's no way you, even if you don't have a Wii U or a Wii or a GameCube, at the time when Smash Brothers came
64?
out, 64. What?
What?
So you have 64, then GameCube, then Wii.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure that
Getting your gens
yeah,
right.
I'm just making sure. But yeah, I mean, every time one came out, you knew it came out.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't have the system, like it's
kind of hard not to know when Mario's in the game.
exactly like that's what I'm saying. I mean, it has the appeal for the Mario fans. It has appeals for any of the other
fan
games.
service in that game, dude.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got literally every Nintendo franchise pretty much supported it, and especially they started this with Melee too, where oh crap, well we didn't have the roster to put this character in the game. Well, now we got these fucking assist trophies, and we got trophies that you can get that includes all these other
They
characters.
will
for
recognize
people.
everything.
Yeah, and you know what everything.
And now
is. Like,
DLC.
and now DLC with Wii that they said they wouldn't happen.
Don't forget that badass commercial
That commercial was awesome.
where Yoshi was like,
That was
Beat-
the first one.
It's like
Was it
Yoshi,
the first one?
Pikachu.
Yeah, it was the first, but it was still an awesome commercial.
it's still amazing.
YouTube it after the show.
That's what made me buy it. for Smash
Yoshi's
Bros.
in the middle of like a fucking flower field.
Just like beating shit out of Pikachu,
Yeah.
Mario trips him.
Donkey Kong.
And that bastard
And that was
Mario-
half the playable roster in there.
Yeah, I know, right. In the first one, it was like nobody.
Mario just hates animals.
But somehow Captain Falcon
Beats
got into that.
Falcon with a whip. He punches Yoshi in the back of the head. Then he trips him on live TV.
I just think as a game, it's done a lot for the fighting scene. I mean, there were times where, I mean, even like the popularity of Street Fighter and some of these other games that have pretty much just been coming out, those have waned. Melee, Smash Bros. In general, but Melee really specifically, because like we said, it's still here.
I think it's done a lot to keep Nintendo relevant with the core
Right.
audience.
Right. I mean, keep in mind, I mean, if you look at like the sales for, I mean, the GameCube just in general, I guarantee you it's probably up there. I mean, we looked at like the awards that it won, where it's finishing like 19th in like these huge numbers. But I imagine if like you shrunk that list down and you just had GameCube and maybe even GameCube for games that came out in 2001, like it would be up there at the top. And if you then take that and you couple that with, if you look at what was being displayed in 2015, it's still here.
This
Like,
was a launch window game for the GameCube.
right, and I mean that's very rare that a game like that keeps popularity. I mean, usually
and
if
looks and plays as well.
yeah, I mean it's a solid game. It didn't have really any bugs. I mean, granted, Nintendo games usually
Nintendo's good with QA.
And you could argue that things like wave dashing weren't intended, but
Right.
they're there, and people, it's a legitimate strategy.
don't. Right. I mean, we've had that guy that was back on Brawl though, where the guy was upset because he tripped and he didn't know how to like recover from falling in the game, and somebody who had been playing the game for a very long time just kind of like kept shooting him with the pistol, and I think he was playing Falco, and he just kept shooting him, and he just died. He kept bouncing off, and then he got to the edge of the
That's
stage and fell. And
sad.
died. I was just like, I mean, but the thing was, even after he got
That's
off,
just a pathetic
They
scene.
came
Yeah,
up
it
to
was-
us and they're like, "That guy cheated." Me
like,
and Joe were like, "No, he didn't."
Have you played the game before? Like he didn't cheat. Like
You
you're
done
just
something
bad.
about that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's the kind of world that this game is kind of made. So
Sure,
Closing arguments.
it was great. See ya. No,
Peace.
Mass Effect 2 is always going to hold a very big place in my heart because that came at a time that I was just was kind of finishing up most of my core curriculum for college, and I've been dabbling since then at a slow trickle for education, but that was when I was really deep in study, and I was living alone, and man, I was into some things.
Mass Effect ruined that. No.
Mass Effect. I would play the occasional Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 with my friends. Spend a lot of time in those games, and I don't consider myself to be a COD bro, but Mass Effect 2. And I was one of those guys that when Mass Effect 1 came out, I knew it was going to be pretty good. I did not buy it right away. I bought Mass Effect 1 after 2 was released. I played through it, thought it was great. When Mass Effect 2 came out, that was the game that got me back into gaming on my own. Gaming and caring about what was going on the screen. Not since Metal Gear Solid 3 did I sit down and maybe 4 to an extent, but I played that with a lot of friends. would I sit down and enjoy a game from start to finish, and I would have to force myself to go to bed. I would look at the clock and say, Jesus Christ, it's 3 a.m. I have to work at 8, and I just want to keep mining and building my resources and getting new weapons. And there was an addictive quality to it. There was a level of polish that is just not found in other games. The production value was enough that even non-fans could have enjoyed what Mass Effect 2 brought to the table. And the gameplay, my God, the gameplay was so tight and such an improvement off of the first one, where the first one was super heavily into RPG and stats like accuracy would affect where your bullets land. In this one, you're aiming and it's your gun and your skill and telling managing your team and having them do things. God, I felt like I was a squad commander playing this game, going to locales that I saw in the last game, pointing stuff out, the level of detail, everything about Mass Effect 2, and like Joe said, in 3 to a certain extent,
Right.
Everything about those games was just so fantastic. And you know what? It might not have the cult following and the staying power of like a Smash Brothers, where it's 15 years later and people are still playing that goddamn game at tournaments for money. But Mass Effect 2 is a game that I think we're still feeling the impact of BioWare raising the bar on RPG, action, adventure, and narrative across the board. And I think games like Witcher can thank Casey Hudson, the team that put together Mass Effect, and the team that put together Dragon Age, because it's obvious that CD Projekt took a lot of cues from BioWare, and I believe they're even in their special thanks.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's a community and we should all work together. And I think imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And man, BioWare nailed it with Mass Effect 2, and I almost get sad when I think about it, because there are very few games coming out these days that I look at and I don't think I'm ever gonna top that level of immersion that I felt when I played that game. Mass Effect 2.
All right. Well, that was a good debate. Very friendly debate, but still good debate. We're gonna give you guys a few minutes to actually vote, so we can tabulate them.
Big D.
I would say we give them 3 minutes.
Refresh that. Reset it.
3 minutes
Reset.
for this.
Okay, guys, so we're going to reset. So everybody has to re-vote. Then we're going to get rid of the Mexican vote.
Yeah.
And
Thanks, gents.
all the random shit that Neil created.
Oh, God.
Mass
now.
Effect did have nice softcore porn.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sorry for it being messed up in the first place.
You won $200 in Smash Bros. And Mass Effect had nice softcore.
Hey, Mass Effect 3 I think had the best softcore porn.
Only softcore.
But like
What?
you can bang aliens.
Whoa, you said softcore porn?
Yeah, well you can have intimate time with your
It's Mass Effect.
look,
but that's when somebody says something like that.
you
It
can
gets your attention.
I this is a funny story. This is about Mass Effect 3. I was playing Mass Effect 3, and somebody walked into my room. One of my roommates walked into my room. I had a Kinect set up, and I was talking to one of the characters in it, and it acts like what he said. The Kinect and its shitty microphone accidentally registered like the homosexual response that opened up like a relationship tree with a guy, and I was a male shepherd. It got ugly.
Somebody probably put in a valid vote.
No, I just reset it, and there's been 2 votes.
Yeah, one of them was for
One was for Emmy, and one was for SSD.
that Mario game,
That Mario game.
There you go.
So you'd have to
That's
refresh it
probably-
again.
which doesn't register.
Yeah.
as Super Smash Brothers.
Don't reset it. Just refresh it at this point, because we don't want to keep resetting
Do
it
you
over
refresh
and over.
the browser window?
Yeah, do that.
That's a little bit better.
Okay, but
So now it's half and half.
Yeah, because that Mario
Yeah,
game
when you're
was
ready to revote, if you don't mind.
Smash Brothers.
but
So all right, we're gonna give 2 more minutes for the voting.
Yeah.
there's
because it got reset.
there's like a question like that in there's one like that in Dragon Age 2. It's like some elf in a bar or like in a pub or something like
You
that.
already know you've gone too far.
Yeah, it's like a homosexual like elf.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
So it's an elf.
It's so it's just all the elf. No, I do think that all of those games do a really good job with like handling sexuality and like race and stuff like that. Like those are like a very, very good beacon for shit like that. It's fucking great.
Ooh, there it is.
All right. So we got what? One more
No,
minute.
that's invalid vote.
Oh, I can't see the bars in my way.
Yeah, I see it.
I see. I just saw
The
ME2
blue
at
is
25.
Did you
Invalid
reset
vote.
it? Did you reset it again?
No, I didn't reset it. It
I
didn't
think
refresh.
everybody. I think it's registering your new votes. So when you vote things like Kermit the Frog and Mexicans, it's registering as invalid vote. It's deleting your old vote and putting in the new one.
Yeah. It
So-
it only registers ME2 or SS.
Yeah, and if
Right.
you vote a new one, this is a new thing that we're using, or is
Yeah.
it the old thing?
This is the same old thing.
The same old thing. When you register a new one, it's deleting your old one.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to
There you go.
I mean, that may be it. But
No, you're getting more.
Yeah, you're getting more.
okay, I see them. I
Yeah,
see them
they're
flooding
all
in.
coming up.
All right, we're gonna
Okay.
give another
He
like.
said it's not registering any of the votes.
It may not necessarily put it up there, but it may still register it.
Let's try it.
See? Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh,
All right.
see,
What a
now we're
valiant
back.
effort. Yeah.
Whoa.
Blue is ME2 and the red is Super Smash Brothers. So Super
That I
Smash
didn't
Brothers
expect
winning
because
with 60 to 40.
It's got a minute
We
left.
still have a
As
minute
soon as
left.
It's 28. As soon as it turns over, then it's gonna be over.
I'm sorry.
Welcome
Shippy.
back.
LOD revote.
I have.
Yeah. Either
Revote.
ME2 for Mass Effect or SSBM.
Right above us, guys. Right above
Super
us.
Smash Brothers. Melee.
SSX tricky.
Oh, can we vote for that?
All right,
Vote for Mexicans.
I'm gonna give another 10 seconds.
You have 10 seconds.
8.
LodTube, your vote.
Which just isn't
7.
really in real time.
LodTube
so-
revote.
6.
There you go.
No, that's not
No,
it.
you got to.
Oh no.
4.
No. You got
3.
to.
2.
Oh, you gotta. Oh.
1. All right, it's gone through. It's gone through.
It went through.
So-
It went through.
Hashtag me too.
All right, refresh that. Let's see where we're at. Oh! It's gonna go to me again. God damn it, man! I'm supposed to be a last resort.
I'm Mr.
thing.
Good
Time.
job, LOD. You ended in a tie.
I'm
All right.
Mr. Just Good Enough.
All right,
We got to get a graphic for this.
all
'Cause
right.
apparently keeps
yeah,
happening.
yeah, man. All right, so I don't like to be.
Like a homeless guy.
I don't like to be
It's
put in
hard.
this position.
This is how
But-
orders.
The position of power.
This is gonna have to happen. Okay, so Super Smash Brothers, awesome game, big community, lasting community. Mass Effect, a revolutionary game as far as Western RPGs, bringing things over. It has a lasting effect. We have
Mass Effect
sequels.
2 versus Smash Brothers Melee.
I'm talking about as a franchise.
I mean, these are
he's
the
talking
best
about
of their.
franchises.
Yeah,
to be
I'm
fair,
just putting out.
both are the best of their respective
Yeah.
franchises.
So
Hang on before you continue.
what's up?
2 million lines of dialogue.
I understand. Did you vote?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Hit the refresh real quick.
I don't think you and I
no,
voted.
I
It
can't
doesn't-
refresh
it
because then
just-
it'll make.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
refresh. Did you vote?
Nothing-
When we close the vote, it was
Hey,
50-50.
Mark,
Rip.
apparently they did 2 years worth of voice acting for Fallout 4.
I can't wait for
Yes,
that game.
yes, they did
Well,
do
that's
that.
Bethesda,
But
that's not BioWare.
Did you vote?
So I had to point that out because I
No.
would never know.
Did you?
This might be a controversial
Yeah.
decision. I'm going for Mass Effect.
What?
Going for Mass Effect.
No!
That's surprising.
Way!
Hold on,
Are you
I'm calling
serious?
shenanigans on this. This is the second time it's gone a decision. The second time we're excited with Mark. Is this just payback for him hiring you?
No.
No.
The first time you said it with me.
Yeah,
First
first
time
time.
it was Mark over me.
Well,
That was the first time.
All right. So I was gonna wait till after the show.
Collusion, folks.
And it's not just because he's my running mate in the next. The fix is what got me is the fact that your decision carrying over. Your decisions carried over from the first game, and they carried over again to the third
Is there a
game.
losers bracket?
I think that's
No.
really probably the deciding factor because they're both solid games. They're both awesome. Yes, I understand. I understand.
Oh,
I understand.
God.
I understand. But yeah, I'll have to give it to that. I'm sorry, Joe. I love you.
it's okay. I like that game. It's a good game.
And I like his game too. I almost just lobbied for a losers bracket just so I could see Milik.
And you do realize this just means that you're going to be on the show even more now.
All right,
Torture.
get my pipes ready.
Alrighty, guys. We're going to take a little break, and I think we have something for you.
Yes, we've been working on some stuff.
Don't click it yet. Yeah, do that first. Boop, boop, and then we'll edit those when we come back. The text.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wish time.
if you were here, you might need to make that a little bit smaller.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's better anyway.
But
Straight up a Tetris.
if you were here 2 nights ago, I know you guys were here.
Offline. Recording my thing.
No,
we're
we're
still
good.
No, we're still
on.
good in
Oh,
mine.
weird. Dropping.
It happened to me earlier.
If you were here, if you were in the channel 2 nights ago, I believe last night I played this fucking game that you guys
Fucking game.
you guys love to watch me play, fucking Monstrum. But a few nights ago I played it before that one, and we're gonna show a little clip of what happens when you play that game while we're transitioning between the two. He's gonna finish this up here. We're gonna take a quick little 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back with our next debate, which is going to be Tetris versus Metal Gear Solid.
Gear.
So
Gear.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
A surveillance camera.
Metal Gear.
All right.
Oh, I do a full playthrough, dude. I'm telling you, like this is not me. Like I can't do horror games. Like I am a big puss when it comes to horror games. I can talk to maybe Mark. Mark is probably just as bad, but he might be up for it. I hate horror games. I can't do them. Like I hate playing them. There's no way to know like if he's on the other side of the door either. Oh, duct tape. There we go. I didn't see that before. Wait a minute. I came in here before, and there was something else here, right? Okay. Watching people be puss makes it fun to watch. Man. Alright. Alright. Shit. I'm trying to get out and run immediately. His fucking... I wish I could take off the boots. Oh, that's where I started. Okay. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck happened there? When the lights flicker, he is near. When the lights are dead, he is right on top of you. Okay. And he can open doors, right, Matteo? We're gonna go. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down. We're gonna go down. This thing's battery is already almost dead. Damn it. I got nothing I can throw at all. I'm so fucked. I'm so fucked. Holy shit! Fuck! Okay. Fuck this! Okay. I tell you what, I'm gonna make a deal with you guys. If no one else will stream this game, I will stream this all the way through. But at this point, I have been awake for an ungodly amount of time. And as much as I really appreciate you guys coming out, I have to get some sleep. I really, really do. And I don't want this to, like, fuck me up and not sleep. Like, I'm fucking shaking right now. Fuck this game. I'm gonna revisit this. I am gonna revisit this. You know what I'm gonna do? I just had a pleasure, like a really, really good idea. I'm gonna have myself, Neil, Mark, and David all play this in the same room. We'll turn off the lights and we'll sit there and play it. I'm definitely gonna play it through, or at least one of us will. I would stream this, but I can't. Oh my god, dude. You are a better man than I, or woman. But fuck, dude. I mean, we almost doubled the goal. I can't ask for more than that. You guys, I almost pissed myself too, trichologist. I will be back probably tomorrow playing something else. I've had a few requests from in the forums as to what you guys want to see me play. Minecard 31. Thank you for the follow, doubling the goal for the day. You guys are awesome. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for coming out, hanging out with G-Cube. That little scrolly thing on the top of the screen is just talking about our podcast. We do one every Saturday at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. You want to watch you play Outlast? I know that's probably going to pop up in the forums now because you guys watch me do this. If you haven't checked out the forums, you can just go to gcube.com. There on the top right, there's something that says forums. Go click on that, and there's a feed there or a thread where you guys can suggest games that you guys want us to play. Go do that. Now I know a bunch of horror games are going to pop up. Thank you, Minecard. Once that gets filled, and then we have like a long list of games, and dude, I'll donate. You definitely don't have to donate, but I really appreciate it. Go do that. We'll be back on Wednesday.
Ground below or skies above. I still don't know if I am right, but I know that for your love I'll go till world end tonight.
Okay, cool. Hey!
What's up?
Park boss.
So, fucking Mark.
No, it's sexy time.
This is relaxed time. Mark already won one round. He don't care anymore.
We don't care. All right.
He's got to recuperate that money he gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. You gotta save it for next debate.
So, this is one.
I thought we were on.
What?
I thought we were on air.
We are.
We are.
That's what I was about to say.
This is live.
Sure. It's not coming up on my shit.
I got it on mine.
You guys are so bad. You guys need to.
I put my shit
upgrade.
on sleep. All
You
right.
can get
The
the
old
e-pads.
school iPad. So,
What up?
we meet again.
I'm not the host of this
Yeah.
one, so I'm just chilling.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I am.
Live from the Dave Cave.
I am going to be the one that's hosting this one. It's really strange, so I've never done this before. So just
Purgatory.
bear with me here. I'm going to be in my little cave over here that they call the Dave.
The Dave Cave.
No, Dave.
It's quite terrifying. We're going to switch back to the other camera. So we're going to start with opening statements. Obviously, it's Joe and Neil with Tetris,
You got the heart.
I have the heart.
The heart.
and
This is
then we
opening and
have
closing.
Mr. Mark and Mr. Rick for Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1. Do you count Twin Snakes?
No.
in there?
No.
Just solid.
You're not counting Twin Snakes?
No, I'm not.
Just solid.
Okay, alright. So
Learn
opening
the
statements.
rules, man.
We're going to start with Mark and Rick. Go ahead.
Well, and I will preface this: the reason why I am not hosting this one, the reason why I'm debating in it, is because I'm way too biased.
Yeah.
over this game. So it wouldn't
Really,
have
your
been fair.
bias taking any type of precedence in this?
No. That was coincidental, to be fair. But yes.
Collusion, folks.
The most biased man in history.
Metal Gear is my favorite franchise. I just said that Mass Effect is really good. Mass Effect is like I said, Mass Effect's in my top
Dear
like
God.
3. But Metal Gear is my all-time favorite franchise. I should just say the same shit.
You know, like I wanna have like a. I'm sorry for
Every game he does, my favorite game of all time.
no, like just have like a video that's like cut to cut to cut. Just like this is my favorite game.
That's what I'm saying.
Just the shirts
To be
change.
fair, I said Mass Effect 2 is in like my top 5 favorite games of
Okay.
all time.
Well, hold on.
Now
Can we
this
get a
is a
T-shirt?
franchise.
Can we just get a T-shirt that says "My favorite game of all time" and just have like a library?
No, it's on the back.
One of the
It's on the
quotes.
back.
It's like tour dates.
Yeah, like tour dates. I like it.
Oh,
Perfect.
Maybe this tournament will determine my true favorite.
Yeah,
game.
right. man.
Metal Gear Solid is a fantastic franchise, and a lot of the things I referenced in my argument for Mass Effect 2, I came back to Metal Gear a lot, and I wouldn't have done that for just any reason. It has nothing to do with arguing Metal Gear later on in the night, but the Metal Gear franchise,
on
Metal
the
Gear
night.
Solid in particular, which is kind of a rebirth for the series, set the tone for what a big budget game should play like, not just from like a gameplay perspective, but from a narrative perspective. You don't have the wide open experience that you did with like Mass Effect, but you didn't need it because everything about it was crafted so
wanna take it, so you want me
expertly that.
You can.
You want to talk about heart? Let's talk about heart.
Yes.
I'm sitting in my living room playing Metal Gear Solid a couple months after it came out, and
Snaking around.
spoiler alert, guys, this game's been out for 18 years, and Miller is on the codec, and he lets his hair down and it's liquid, and I felt betrayed. That was just one of the most epic plot twists of all time for me, and the level of care that they took with the franchise. Did you know that there were things that were said in 1 as part of like extra calls that you have to call in specific places?
Wait,
during
are
specific
you referencing
situations?
like Metal Gear for the NES?
Metal Gear Solid?
Metal
Okay.
Gear Solid.
There are things that you do in Metal Gear Solid, like calls that you can trigger that are kind of, they're not hidden, but they're kind of like Easter eggy calls that reference deeper plot lines that are then touched upon again in 2 and 4 and the Patriots, the
Rock Man.
they were first mentioned in Metal Gear Solid as one of the other outfits that Naomi could be working for. So they took this story of Solid Snake, and he's disarming the terrorists. He's getting their nuke and Dabadoo.
Dabadoo is a good part.
Dabadoo. That's my favorite part.
It was a
But
tank at one point.
yeah, but it never. This is serious. It never took itself too seriously.
Yes.
And you bought that game, and if you didn't have a brain, you thought this was a gun game about disarming terrorists. You had no clue what you were
damn
playing. And if you actually stuck with the franchise, like so many of us have, the threads that are established in Metal Gear Solid 1, it doesn't matter if you can choose what happens or not. They're still reaching out into a game that hasn't even come out yet we're still looking for answers to shit that started in this game, in a game that's coming out in September of this year, 18 years later. So, Metal Gear, my favorite game.
18 years later.
Metal Gear Solid is the standard bearer for a game like, what's that, Bill Cosby? It is, yeah, Dabadoo, right? Bill Cosby, I got it. Metal Gear Solid is the standard bearer for what story, high level thinking, mixed in with some bitchin' gameplay should be. It is the perfect action game.
I've never seen so much heart and care put into a game's story ever.
Can one of you answer? And I'm sorry, this is not Metal Gear Solid. This is Metal Gear Solid 4.
We got you.
Why did those things make
What things?
cow noises?
Those things.
You know what I'm talking
Oh, the geckos?
What the fuck was that?
Well, they had like synthetic organic parts.
Yeah,
Like they were like flesh pieces.
they're spliced from
right.
cow DNA,
So they
different
make cow-
DNAs.
So like they felt like pain, and the reason like because of that it was better like on terrain because it felt like real life like impact to it. So eventually those were the evolution of what Metal Gear Rex was and Metal Gear Solid, where it was a mech that was entirely controlled by you. These ones had an AI and responded in real time to what its like physical like bio joints
Yeah.
were doing, and as a result it felt pain and it emoted pain. So
But they had to get that from somewhere.
right.
So they got it from the cow.
Probably.
I don't think.
I'm not trying to bring it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it was
fucking
like
love
a
the
real,
game.
like,
It was just
like,
weird
yeah.
to me.
Yeah, they probably. I mean, honestly, the answer is probably like he thought it sounded awesome, but to be honest, but he's probably taking DNA from all sorts of places to get that synthetic
Okay, all right.
organic tissue. I guess it would.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Bio Rockman, I need scissors. He knows what he's talking about.
All right. So I mean,
David, you got to step up.
It's opening
You're
statements.
moderating.
I thought Rick was
no.
gonna say more.
I was gonna
No.
say more, and I realized I'll save it.
You gonna
I'm
say?
yeah, I'm gonna save that bacon.
You gonna say? All right. So that's the opening statement for Rick and Mark. I was gonna say Rick and Morty.
You could.
Rick and Marky?
Yeah.
I've watched that.
You remember
Moving on
those?
to Joe and Neil for
Okay.
Tetris, please.
There is a game that everyone has played. There is a game that your mother has played, your father has played, your nephews, your nieces. If you have children, they've played it too.
And your
My
grandma.
It was-
uncle that lives in a cabin in Tennessee
Yep.
plays Tetris.
You're really interrupting my flow here. I have a flow, and you're getting in the way of it. You're like a dam.
She sells insurance.
You should have had-
Goddamn.
Damn it! I was gonna say you should have God damn it to it, and you're like,
I'm on that. Listen, the game was originally released in 1984 by accident. And it's still...
who is this company called? Accident.
Goddamn flow! The game was released in 1984 and still up until the year 2006 was being remastered and re-released in its original format. Not even counting Tetris 2, Tetris Jr., and every other variation. The original variation was still being re-released up until 2006, which was its latest release. How many years have we feeling the effect of Metal Gear Solid? 18, you said?
For solid.
Do
yeah.
the
Solid,
math.
yes.
Do the math of 84 to 2006. Tell me how many years you got there.
84. That's 30.
It's 32.
To 2006.
31.
To 2006.
Just to 2006.
Yeah, I was just going releases of the game. I was just going just releases of the game. Continuous releases of the game.
Oh, Tetris comes out.
22 years of continuous release. Continuous sales of just the original IP, not counting any offshoots. That's more than any other game has ever been able to manufacture. This game is a monster. This game is so big that it spawned its own company. It wasn't a company that made the game that got bigger. It was this little Russian dude who was working as a research scientist who wrote a game to test the hardware the Russians were using for their missile alert system.
This sounds like Metal Gear.
You probably got your script from our game. God damn it.
For making
Hey, for those keeping count, Russians.
Ruskies.
Just so you know, Tetris might not have 2 million lines of dialogue, but it did have
2 million lines.
2 million lines of code.
Just lines.
I mean, I think we can all recall the original title screen with Alexei Bajivnov's name written on the bottom and the little Taj Mahal popping up and that crazy music. I mean, it's iconic.
I can hear it in my head right now.
Exactly.
I'm Game Boy.
It is the icon. This game is so popular, so influential, such a powerhouse that on your Casio graphing calculators, you can type in a little code sequence and play Tetris on your calculator. This game has been accepted into every single video game and computing format imaginative. I mean, that is imaginable.
I'm like,
Imaginable.
yeah, sounds right.
Good enough. This is the gaming powerhouse of all gaming powerhouses. It's the number. Yo, man. You like my toes?
You killed Neil. Congratulations.
All these jams. My flow was destroyed.
You're doing God's work, Paul.
You're doing
I mean, the only other game you can put into the same scope as Tetris is Mario, and we excluded Mario.
Yeah.
So hands down, we all know who should win.
You know
this.
why we excluded Mario? Because we wrecked shit all over this thing.
But to be fair, fuck Tetris because my dad got me a Game Boy. He got me a Game Boy and he got me Tetris and he played it all the goddamn time. So I never got to play my game.
And now he has a bad relationship with his dad.
You never let me play Tetris.
I'll give you impact. That's the reason why me and my father don't talk.
Okay. We can move along.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad
I'm
bought me
sorry, I'm
Tetris
still
too.
reeling. Oh my god. Okay, well,
What do we
I'm
got?
sorry to say that there's one game here that cannot be beaten in this category, but we're gonna go to reception and sales.
We should probably remind them to vote how to do it.
Yep.
It's not in the.
Okay,
it's
then
not,
my
it's
fault.
not-
That's fine. That's
Exclamation mark, vote Big Toe.
We're saying
Okay. All right.
we'll tell them in a little bit.
Tell me a little
We'll
bit.
come back to it.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No,
It
it's
was-
cool.
it
I just want to
wasn't-
make sure. I just want to make sure.
Save your votes for the end, people.
It's true. Save them.
Is this
Reception?
reception?
Yes, reception and
Reception.
sales. I'm sorry.
Who are you
We're
starting?
gonna go to Joe and Neil first.
Oh shit, son.
Changing it
Wait
up.
your turn. So reception. It's fucking Tetris. Like
The highest grossing game of all time.
the mere fact that I can say Tetris and you aren't asking me what the fuck I'm talking about, and this game came out, what was it, 22 years ago? All right,
No, 1984.
32 years
31
ago.
years ago.
31 years ago. I know Tiger Lady's like,
Yeah,
you
what
guys
year
fucking
is it?
suck with math.
31 years
20.
ago.
But
That's why I said 31 because I thought he said.
I keep
Till
thinking I'm
now.
30, but I'm 29.
I mean,
Sorry.
technically, you could say till now because I mean, you can still fucking play Tetris on an iPhones and shit. Like it comes as like with anything that you buy.
There's a new game in Japan for Xbox One, Tetris Puyo Puyo,
Uh-oh.
Puyo Pop Tetris Collabo. It's amazing. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I mean, obviously, I mean, it's the most popular, most sold game. Period. I think it came the second to it is what, Wii Sports, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
Tetris is literally everyone has played this game. Like it's not something like, oh well, a lot of people. Every fucking body has played Tetris. At some
To
point
put
in
this
their
in
life.
perspective, taking us out of the equation, EGM did their 100 best games of all, greatest games of all time. Tetris won. IGN did their 100 best games of all time. Tetris came in second. So if those two juggernauts put it as number 1 and number 2, and it wasn't Metal Gear Solid,
We're just going to do it.
They
I
are
mean-
on that list though.
I mean, who are we to even get in the way of their opinions?
It's true.
I mean, like
Well,
I said
EGM
before,
went out of business.
like I said before, like it got bought out.
We're gonna cite them later.
They came back. They're back. They're back. They're back.
Like I said before, it's the only game to be accepted on every living and dead video game console and computing console language,
Or computing
Consoles
thing.
never.
or even computing thing. I mean, it's even an Easter egg on items that aren't even computer based.
Calculators.
Not just calculators. It's on like what they say here. There's on oscilloscopes.
Wow.
You could play Tetris on an oscilloscope.
That's crazy. If I only knew what the fuck
I
that
don't even know
was.
what that is. I don't understand. Like, what the fuck is that?
I was trying to play it cool. I'm like, yeah, awesome.
Isn't that like
But I mean, it was on PDAs. It was on PDOs with PDAs.
He's in Metal Gear Solid. He got the guns.
He's really old now.
I mean, don't forget the fact that people play Tetris on the sides of buildings with art.
It's true.
What?
There's
never seen
art
that?
like New York City where people will drop
With
blocks.
light.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty cool. I mean, on top of that, like you were saying, there's literally every system. Like there's a rundown of all the systems that it's on or has been available on. I wish I had it here just to show you how long.
This is an oscilloscope. It's like a voltmeter.
Okay, here we
Okay.
go.
Now we're going.
Now you guys may not be able to see this. Well, you definitely won't fucking be
Definitely
able
not.
to see this.
That's the
But I
whiteboard
want-
version 2.
I want you guys
Blow it
to
up,
see this.
son.
Yeah, right? They only see a white screen.
All right. So here, the systems in this release date start from here.
I said constant release from 84 to 2006.
The last- on the Commodore VIC 20 in September 30th, 2006. But it's existed up until then. I mean, we're talking about reception, and there's some other stuff that I want to note in terms of innovation later down the road. But have you played Tetris?
Yeah.
Have you played Tetris?
I played it once.
Dude, that's
Have
shot.
you
That's
played
what changed
Tetris?
my life.
Have you played Tetris?
Have I played Tetris?
Yes.
I was on the professional.
Have you played Tetris?
Let's put this into the scope of modern times because
I'm just
everybody's
saying,
thinking
everyone's
Tetris and they're
fucking
thinking
played
the 80s and 90s. When it got put onto the Android and iOS markets, it is currently the best-selling paid downloaded game of all time
Jeez. This is like,
on modern markets.
and even if you're not comparing it with like big triple titles like this, you're comparing it with against like Bejeweled, fucking Angry Birds, fucking like Candy Crush. It's still number one. These games, even now in 2015, it is still number one. So I mean, yeah, its reception is fucking great.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to Mark and Rick. How
Yeah.
did you guys do reception?
I mean, I think that's decent. That's a decent reception.
just decent.
But I would just like to
Right.
note that McDonald's makes a shit ton of money and everybody's eating at McDonald's, but it's not the greatest burger. Just saying.
But we're talking about
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, using an analogy.
Are you saying that Tetris is like?
Well, let's just say that your burger
I thought
wouldn't
you was gonna
exist
be
if
like-
our burger didn't
I
exist.
thought you was gonna be like, hold on. Are you saying that McDonald's is not the best burger? All right.
Why do we not have a mini Mac, by the way? Why not make a mini
It's
Big
already
Mac?
small.
Yeah, you just ask for the mac sauce, baby.
I'm just saying, take that extra piece of bread out there. Nobody wants that extra piece
All
of
right,
bread.
that's too much carbs.
Reception. So with sales, it was released in 1998. Metal Gear shipped over 6 million copies
Mine's
worldwide. With the reception as in awards and critical acclaim.
That ship's $50.
Game rankings gave it 93.24%. Metacritic gave it 94%. EGM gave it a 40 out of 40 perfect score. IGN gave it a 9.8 out of 10. They also said closer to perfection than any other game in PlayStation's action game, and called it beautiful, engrossing, and innovative
Surprised
in
IGN
every
wasn't even around back
conceivable
then.
category. PSM gave it a 10 out of 10 perfect score. The best game ever made, unputdownable and unforgettable. Edge gave it a 9 out of 10. All Game gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, perfect score, even though I don't know who they are. Japan Media Arts Festival gave it an Excellence Award for Interactive Art. IGN gave it a Best Ending Award and Best Villain Award as well.
This is
And
a
it's
board game.
it's been on countless best games of all times lists across the board, everywhere. That's what I have to say about reception. I don't know what you have to say about reception.
I think you kind of told the story.
We'll probably asleep during their list.
As far as like sales and stuff like that, and maybe everybody hasn't played Metal Gear Solid, but if you've played any game in the AAA realm in the last, let's just call it 15 years, you've played a game that has been heavily influenced by the work that Hideo Kojima
we'll work on that.
Well,
put
yeah,
down
that's a
to
little
code.
weird.
So, as far as reception goes, if you
We're not debating Kojima
if you like
versus
if you like
Tetris.
if you like life and being alive and not dying immediately, you like Metal Gear.
Vote for Mark.
I think Mark just threatened all of your lives. I'm pretty sure that just happened.
There were threats thrown
He
down.
knows people.
Who knows people?
Certain set of skills.
All right, so
I kept it short and sweet. I'm going to the point.
You know the Boston Bomber? Mark knows him personally.
Don't put me too soon. FBI will be here. The Boston Bomber.
That's a good way to get a swap.
Joe Garcano.
Listen, I live in Florida. I wear flip-flops from time to time. Get over it.
Not today.
I have on flip
No, I
flops.
wore them. They're over there.
Can you guys see my flip flops?
so
No.
so guys, just
I normally take off my shoes when I come into Joe's house. It's just polite.
in Japan, what?
In Japan,
What's your
what?
question?
I didn't say Japan. I was just reminding everybody, hey, it's time, to vote.
No, it's not.
It's exclamation point, vote, space, Tetris.
If you want to vote for Tetris.
For Tetris, and then it's
I
exclamation
mean, why
point,
wouldn't you want to vote for Tetris?
vote,
Yeah,
MGS,
right?
space MGS. Something's going on when you vote for Tetris. It doesn't say one or more votes added to the poll, but I keep refreshing every time I see a Tetris vote, and it does count it. So even though it doesn't notify you that it's counted it has.
That's good.
So just an FYI.
Wait,
Just trust the system.
wait.
What's up?
Really quick.
Move to the
That
door.
better not be the fucking cops.
Was someone at the door?
Yeah, somebody just knocked on the door.
There's someone at the door.
Let me
I got it.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'll continue in Joe's
The
stead.
FBI is really quick.
Really damn quick. What you don't understand is being an English national,
That
I'm
Wi-Fi
always
says
being
FBI
listened to, so the FBI does watch the stream. What up? What's going on?
Continue. Go ahead.
What is it?
Go ahead.
Oh, but I want to know what it is. You order food? Alright, so what are we going? Come on.
What's the next category?
Yeah, you're in charge of this,
You were
man.
in the middle of
The next-
talking. I was trying to let you.
He was
finish
trying
your
to
statement.
remind people how to vote.
Mm.
And then he goes
Okay,
into
all right. So
replayability.
the next category, guys, is replayability. I don't know what you guys. I've never played more than one game.
Before we start that category, just so you guys understand what's going on when we type like the exclamation point cubes and stuff, some cool stuff has happened in the chat since I don't know if you were a lot of you guys were here yesterday, so a lot of you guys this is not new information for you, but there's a currency system now. You get cubes for just hanging out in chat, like even when we're online or offline. So yeah, I don't know if you ever seen anyone type in like cube earlier today or whatnot. That's where that's from. And then we'll be doing like giveaways and like auctions and stuff that you can spin the cubes to get stuff. So yeah, that's that.
Okay, so replayability.
Right.
We're gonna bounce to Mark and Rick for replayability.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Start bouncing, guys.
You can hit that first. It's a double
Share.
team.
Like getting
We'll
good tag
share.
team.
We'll share. We're gonna get a tag team. Somebody's got to go first.
I like sloppy seconds.
Hashtag truth.
Metal Gear is a game that I'll continue to replay these days, and in retrospect, continue to find new things. I touched on the hidden codec conversations, and just some of the meaning of the dialogue and the story elements take on entirely new meanings when you put them up against revelations that are found in some of the current games. As far as replaying the specific game, it is a stealth game, and it did kind of popularize that genre in modern gaming. There are several different ways to progress through the game. You don't have to progress, from a static left to right, and here is the end. There are vents you can crawl through. There are tanks you can crawl under. You can shimmy through. You can wreck through and kill people with your arsenal of
Weapons.
high-end weaponry. Like you can do whatever you want within the scope of the game. I've gone through and done pacifist playthroughs. I've gone through and done Rambo playthroughs. The game gives you a score at the end based on how many times you saved, how many times you died, how fast you completed it, how many people you killed, and you get a different code name depending on how you performed in that situation.
You want to refine your skills.
Yeah, the game forces you to get better, and the fact that there's such this level of care with everything in the narrative that you will still play this game today and find new threads and go, oh my god, that's what they meant. It wasn't just some tacked on story element. They've been thinking of this forever. Metal Gear Solid, as far as games go that aren't full mission based like Metal Gear Solid 5 will be, has a surprising amount of replayability. And you know what? When you complete the first playthrough, they say, here's your bandana for your infinite ammo. Go have some fun. Or they say, here's your stealth camo. So you can go through and have some fun a different way. You want to go fully stealth, go stealth camo. You want to go fully Rambo, take your infinite ammo
Or
bandana. And you go through that third playthrough. You are wearing a tuxedo and you look like goddamn James Bond. And Gray Fox, the cyborg ninja, is Spider-Man variant. His armor is colored like Spider-Man. I know it's a small detail, but like, how many games of that scope do you think that you're going to play through 3 times in a row?
And this was all in Metal Gear Solid, the first one?
The first one.
Yep.
Yeah. And you get through. Yeah, as a matter of fact, God damn it, yes. You play through that game. How many times do you think you're going to play through that game? And if you go through and you still have your save, there it is.
You also get the camera.
Yeah, you get the camera in there. There's like a little hidden metagame in there where if you take pictures of certain places in the game, you'll find ghosts of the developers. Mm-hmm. So there's tons of stuff to go back through that you just cannot do your first playthrough, and other stuff that you want to go back through again just to see some of the Easter eggs, like getting into the bathroom in time to see Meryl in her underwear, or if you go into certain areas, you can hear dialogue that you're not supposed to hear, like Johnny Sasaki having diarrhea. There's so many things that are happening at one time in this game. It's totally worth playing as much as possible.
And do you remember where you find Hideo's ghost?
No.
It's a urine, like a puddle of urine from.
Where Otacon pees himself?
It was urine from a soldier. I don't believe it was from Otacon.
I know we're not arguing Twin Snakes, but I know one of the things is they changed the pictures of who was up in Psycho Mantis' room to be like Iwata and a couple of the other guys from Nintendo, and it's a cool little aside. But.
For replayability, it has 2 different endings also. It also, just to fully wrap your head, you touched on it, just to fully wrap your head around the story, you got to play it more than once. Mm-hmm. You're going to catch, even without the other games existing, first of all, the first time you play it, you're like, well, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It can catch you off guard, it's so big, and then you play it again, you're like, oh shit, okay, I get it.
It's the one game in the series, I think maybe besides 3 to a certain extent, that's fully self-contained, that you can play without playing the other ones, and get a grip for what's going on.
Yeah.
Those 2 different endings are based off of a gameplay element, a difficult gameplay element, in which you have to survive the torture.
It wasn't hard for me, but...
Mm-hmm. Well,
I got quick fingers. I
just don't like this. I don't like this. But you get both ends.
Not look like. It
was like a corner of my eye just now. I was just like, what just happened?
I was 13.
So yeah, tons, especially for a game like that, tons of replayability, quality replayability as well.
So we're gonna move on to. Are you guys done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Moving to Neil and Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Yo.
Did you ever beat Tetris?
Nope.
How many times did you try?
A lot.
Cool. Mark, did you ever beat Tetris?
Well, define beat.
Did you ever defeat the game?
Are you talking like level
Did you ever win? Did anything ever pop up and say you won?
I got credits. Does that count?
How many times have you played through Tetris?
Did you get cubes?
How many times have you played through Tetris?
I'm sure plenty, but
You're
I
on the
was also
stand. You're under oath. May I remind you?
Each playthrough was about 6 minutes.
How many times did you play through Tetris?
It was on the toilet. That's why.
Bajillions. 6-minute
Hey, Rick,
playthroughs.
did you ever beat Tetris?
No.
How many times have you played through it?
No.
That's it.
If I never beat Tetris, I can't play.
How many times have you played Tetris?
A few times.
Just a few?
Honestly, probably like 73 times.
If you
Ghost of Dave. Have you ever beat Tetris?
Ghost of Dave.
Well, I played a lot of Tetris.
How many times did you play through it?
Well, I played a lot of iterations, and a lot of the iterations end at 200, so I beat the game.
Like, define play...
But the original. We're just going original.
Just
We're
OG
just going original.
Tetris.
Okay, I guess I've never beaten it.
How many times have you played through the original Tetris? Just answer the questions you're being asked.
700 quintillion times. That's all we played.
700 quintillion times. A billion times. A billion times. Rick doesn't count because his dad wouldn't let him play. That's the definition. You're off the stand. I'm done with you. That's the definition of replayability. The fact that you played through it multiple times. You kept playing the fucking game. You didn't just go, well, that was cool, and put it down. Even though you played through it to the point where you couldn't beat it anymore because the game was too fast for you. You know what you did the next time? You played it again. And then you played it again. And then you played it again. And then you played it again. What do you call that? Replayability.
Level 9 high five. That's what it was.
Level
9 speed high five with all the junk garbage.
Does not matter. Replayability.
No, that's that. I was trying to
That's
remember
the categories.
what
The categories replayability. That's all
Play
needs to be
shit
said.
level 20.
What?
I played Tetris.
Joe, you got anything to add to that?
You can't beat the game. The first one, no.
The original one you couldn't. It was impossible.
You literally couldn't.
It was just a puzzle game without ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just got hard.
I made the rocket ship take off in the Game Boy version.
The Tetronome just kept going.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
What did the original Tetris come out for?
The original Tetris.
The Game Boy.
No.
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 No,
it was
Game
one of
Boy
the
was
launch
way
titles.
later.
It was one of the launch titles for the original Game Boy.
What did it come
Yeah.
out?
But the first system
The
was
very
on...
first was it was for God.
Hold on, I'll pull
The
it.
Electronica 60 in June 6th of 1980. Then MS-DOS in 86, IBM PC in 86, ZX Spectrum 87, the Amiga in 87, the Atari in
So
87.
technically, I never played Tetris.
No, because the original
which
original
one are we
iteration of
arguing?
Tetris was being remade for every single system up until the year 2006.
But it's the same exact game.
The same exact game.
Yeah.
Tetris Attack was the best one. Sorry.
I think Tetris DS was the best one. I think
Oh, that was really good. That one was really good.
Tetris DS was amazing.
I just realized it doesn't have the DS one on here. I guess it's not Tetris. It's Tetris.
It's a
DS.
different game. It's got like a bunch of Mario
You
shit.
got
in it.
something for replayability?
No, I just said that. You can't beat it.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so
The
the
fact-
to the next category.
Well, hold on, let me answer the
done
mechanized
with
question.
you, sir.
You
Denied.
shut your mouth.
He's the host.
Whoa.
He said
He
denied.
is-
I'm
That's
just
my
I'm just answering someone in the chat. That someone in the chat said if you call replaying it starting over when you
That's not a
lose, it has replayability. That is replayability. No. He was questioning my definition of replayability.
What?
He said if you call.
Next
Question.
The next
Alright.
category is innovation.
Problem solving
And
text.
Neil's
Yeah, no,
douchebag. So I'm gonna go with Rick and Mark.
Wins.
What is this category?
Innovation.
Oh, okay.
Neil is big tech and chill over there.
Alright,
He's
so-
an asshole.
You got some ice cream put in? That'd be great.
Metal Gear Solid arguably invented the stealth genre.
This isn't fair because I gave them all the stuff earlier.
Game trailers claim that Metal Gear Solid invented the stealth game, and IGN called it the founder of the stealth game.
Absolutely.
Redefined storytelling in video games. Entertainment Weekly, not even a game site, but storytelling broke through to mainstream media. Entertainment Weekly said it broke new ground with movie-style production and stealth-driven gameplay. Hideo Kojima's adoration for film and TVs is a big cause for the heightened sense of storytelling. The game just has tons of character, breaking the fourth wall with Mero's frequency, Psycho Mantis fight. Psycho Mantis reads your mind by reading your memory card. Moves the control. He tells you to put your controller on the
He
ground.
knows you're using controller
Yes.
port 1. He can read your mind, so you trick him by putting your controller
Yes.
in controller port 2.
You put the controller on a flat surface, and he makes it move by the rumble effect. I remember when that happened. I was like, "This is so fucking cool." What else did he do? Oh, he also changes the TV. He fucks with you. When he did that, I was like, "Oh shit, what happened?" You
The
know,
volume down thing.
Solid
the volume
control.
down. He just messes with you in really cool ways. The most innovating controller use in boss fight with Psycho Mantis in the Guinness World Records Gamers Edition from 2008. You have to change the controller slot so that Psycho Mantis won't read your thoughts, so you can dodge or so he won't be able to dodge your attacks. I went and pulled into
See, like Castlevania.
a GameFAQs forum board from 7 years ago, and somebody made a good point, and I couldn't find anything anywhere else to refute it. But Metal Gear Solid's gameplay. This is DevsMan. I'm going to give credit to DevsMan on the GameFAQs boards.
Man, if you're out there.
Metal Gear Solid's
Shout out
gameplay
to DevsMan.
innovations included using sound to distract the enemies, leaving footprints in the snow that enemies can follow, catching a cold and alerting enemies to your presence by sneezing, and invisible enemies. These are common gameplay aspects now, but at the time MGS came out, they were completely unheard of. Plus, Cone of Vision with radar. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
I just want to put this out here that Metal Gear Solid was not the first stealth game. That falls into Tenchu. Tenchu
I remember
The
Tenchu.
Metal Gear Solid gameplay mechanics of manipulating the environment.
Mark, we know you're good at manipulating things.
Oh yeah, you know it. Especially no.
Especially Rick.
Metal Gear Solid gameplay elements created the modern stealth genre.
Yes. To be more
Because I mean,
specific.
if we're gonna be honest, I mean there are obscure like SNES games that had stealth in them.
But you can't call Tenchu obscure though.
I wouldn't call it obscure,
Tenchu is pretty-
but I would call
But
I would call it
Tenchu
less influential.
It's less influential, I would say. And when you're saying something's the godfather of a genre, it's not necessarily the first person that was there. It's the person that made the most
Even the
impact.
Godfather
But you said it first though.
Man, I'm quoting people, okay? They may have been wrong.
it was the first in the modern wave of.
It
stealth
also
games.
it had innovations in world building, character development, storytelling, gameplay, all brought to life and experience, and a world of interesting characters and conflicts.
Did Tenchu have shit in the snow that people had to follow?
What?
Did you
Yeah,
make tracks
footprints.
in the snow and people had
Footprints.
to follow the shit in the snow in Tenchu?
No, you had sound effects that
Whose
they had to follow.
footprints are
Okay,
these?
so nothing.
What? It's still a stealth game.
It's still stealth. I will give you a stealth
and
game.
it was still the first 3D stealth game.
Yeah, but
Just saying.
to be fair, who gives a shit about Tenchu?
I
got swords!
And since we're paying attention to the chat, Metal Gear Solid is not a ripoff of Splinter Cell. In fact, you can, if you like Splinter Cell, you can thank Metal Gear Solid
Yeah.
for the gameplay elements of Splinter Cell making sense.
I think he was joking.
It was
Oh,
okay,
cool.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hey,
maybe.
well, I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. I have people coming at me all sides. I have this guy's toes. I don't
Fucking
know.
Squirtles.
Squirtle's got a Squirtle deal.
Neil's toes are pretty creepy.
Squirtle
I will not lie. So we're gonna go to innovation to Neil and Joe over there.
Did you have anything you wanted?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you guys were done.
I mean, we kind of tag teamed it. I mean, a lot of the gameplay elements, the Psycho Mantis fight in particular, multiple endings in a big AAA title. The breaking of the fourth wall is one of my favorite things. I love it when games do it.
I got screwed over because I rented my.
Was Metal Gear the first game to do all these things?
And you
You
didn't have
didn't have the fucking.
no, it was not the first game to break the fourth
So it wasn't
wall.
really innovation on its
Yeah,
part.
but it was
No.
very innovative in how they did it. They put Meryl's frequency on the back of a case.
Yeah.
So you had to literally, outside of the game, do something so that you
It's like almost like
progress.
it's
ARG.
almost like exactly.
It's the way that they did it. And also
Is
the,
it
the memory card thing,
No.
that was innovative.
AR game?
There
with
was
the-
alternate reality.
Is it called
Alternative
ARG?
reality.
Augmented reality?
No, that's like if you're looking at a
Yeah.
camera and there's something else.
Oh,
there.
oh,
Alternative
yeah.
reality was like I Love Bees for Halo 2. Nobody know that one?
I know.
No.
I know what. I know.
Yeah.
Yes. I know.
Okay.
But that's what I meant by innovation in breaking the fourth wall.
Also, if you played for too long, someone would call you and be like, "Yo, you've been playing for too long. You need to chill the fuck out." You need to rest." And
Yeah.
it would like force you to save and everything. To you.
The game was it was self-aware.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was
Skynet,
just,
you
it's
say.
a riot. Yeah.
Skynet, you say.
It's a riot.
All right, so we're gonna move on to innovation onto these two guys over
Corey
here,
in the
Neil and
house.
Joe.
So, this is essentially the first. This is essentially the first puzzle game. Like, before this game existed, you
Electronic puzzle.
electronic puzzle
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Set the standard.
Before you had this game, you had like Asteroid, Pong, like things of that
Hey,
nature.
Pong's not a...
Not to interrupt, but did you guys like Dr. Mario?
This is saying like this is the kind
okay.
of things. that
Did you guys like Dr. Mario?
Never played Dr.
Super Puzzle Fighter?
Super Puzzle Fighter, exactly.
I rented it from Shop and Save.
I mean, let's thank Tetris. But the absolute biggest thing that Tetris did for the gaming industry in the realm of changing things and the status quo, it was the first game to ever have any type of copyright problems internationally because of the fact that it was the first game to actually internationally cross more borders than just Japan to America. And due to the battle that all of the developers and the people who tried to make versions of Tetris had, that's how we got the copyright laws for video games that we have now. Like, all the international releases that we have today, and the ones that we don't get and the ones that we do get, are all possible because of the fight that Tetris had to go through.
Just as a quick aside, has anybody back when G4 was like a channel and was good?
I can't remember that far back.
Before cops, before cheaters, they used to do this show. They used to do a show called Icons. You remember? And it was like a half-hour like retrospective on like a game they did on like Crash Bandicoot.
It was like
they went on
true
Mega
Hollywood
Man.
stories for video games.
And they would talk about like a game franchise or a developer, and they would go through and they would just do. It was like the most fascinating shit. Well, they did one on Tetris, and it's if you actually like Tetris, it's worth
YouTube that
it's
shit.
worth a YouTube
Yeah.
or a Daily Motion if YouTube doesn't have it.
They also have a G4 documentary on YouTube, and it's pretty.
No
good.
shit.
It's 20 minutes long, and it's It's really good.
Oh,
very
link me
insightful.
that.
Like a week.
No joke.
I'm gonna
yeah.
watch that.
What?
Damn,
Sorry,
that's
I'm sorry.
what-
I'm
get
sorry.
the flow.
It's a documentary
G4.
on G4,
Oh, yeah, you
and
told me
it's
about that,
really,
yeah.
really good.
It's okay though because it's fucking Tetris.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Tetris.
Goddamn
But-
Tetris.
And then you want to talk about other innovation. They have, due to the effects of playing Tetris on the brain, the increase in your cognitive capacities while you're playing it.
Praying it.
Some people do.
They've actually done in-depth research and using Tetris in order to counteract the effects of PTSD, and they're starting to find that using Tetris in correlation with making the soldiers watch videos of things they went through releases the memories from their brain and helps them get over it. Real life applications to video games. That's innovation.
I mean, this thing, it's also been used as like, and it probably could be said, I haven't done the research, but it probably could be said that it's either early or the first, like, game that kind of had a touch outside of the gaming industry. Like, it was used in psychiatry, and they would use it as a practice to test, like, critical thinking and things of that nature, like, which was cool because it kind of solidified, like, gaming, like, in a more serious realm than just like, oh, it's a toy. Because I mean, even still now, games, even video games, as fucking graphically like advanced as they are, some people still think of them in the same realm as toys. But they're saying, I mean, this is early, if not the first game that was like used for something other than just entertainment. Like it was used in medical practice, so which is insane.
The PlayStation 3, the folding at home was being used to find a cure for cancer.
Folding
Folding home was
Folding
great.
at home, yeah. So like
They used my folding home to discover a virus that could kill everything.
when you weren't using your PlayStation,
Yeah.
essentially what it would do is it would use it as like part of like a giant network server.
I remember that.
And they
You know,
were
you can
using
still
it to-
make your computer do that. For
Yeah.
like certain
That's pretty cool.
Right.
society.
Yes, Morwick, Tetris. Right in your wheelhouse, so I expect that vote.
Are you guys done with your innovation?
That's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Okay.
Just saying.
We changed the world. You changed the genre.
I mean, but I know of scientific proof that says if you like Metal Gear Solid, you're a better person.
I know of scientific proof that says if you like Metal Gear Solid, you like the Boston Bomber.
You're like the Boston Bomb.
The Boston Mobbler?
That doesn't even make
That
any
is
sense.
true.
Is he like the hamburger?
Like
What
him.
does that mean?
You are like the Boston Mobbler.
That's what the Mobbler does.
All right.
All right, guys. Next category is impact. We're gonna go. I don't want to
TNA Impact?
We're gonna go to Neil and Joe for impact.
Joe, you want to impact this?
We just said that.
Hey, Jay, stop it.
No,
You want
that
to
was
impact this some more?
No.
That
That was
was
No,
innovation.
I understand that, but we just said that. That's what I'm saying.
So do you?
I'm just-
Says, are you forfeiting your...
Not
Okay.
forfeiting.
Okay.
I'm letting you know that is the impact. Like, I mean, its impact has touched, like, besides just a puzzle game scene and creating that scene, it's helped people with, like, psychological problems. Like, I mean, it's a game much like what I was talking about with, like, EverQuest and, like, we were talking about World of Warcraft.
Whoa. It was to treat people with psychological problems. We don't know if it helped them.
No, they already said that it
They
did.
have conclusive proof.
Those-
shows it.
Those people are still playing Tetris.
That's how they got them off the
Okay,
streets. They were
you
just
want to
like,
talk about
they're just
impact?
glued to it.
Tetris was the launch game for the original Game Boy. It was the game that came with it.
Mario Land, yeah.
Yep, Mario Land, both of those.
Yep, and it's one of the selling reasons for it because if going back to my childhood, my parents who gave up playing video games after the Atari bought Game Boys so they could keep playing Tetris. I mean, Tetris and Mario Land, those games coming out with the system were the reason that system took off and became a thing. That's why handhelds became a thing.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just ignore it.
What have I done? Sorry, Mark.
Yo, I
But-
lived through that. God damn it.
But there are a few games that have had as much impact on the industry as the games that came in the original generation of gaming. Like anything 1985 and before, almost every last one of those games, even E.T. impacted gaming because people realized that you can't release a shitty game like that and expect it to
Yeah.
sell. I mean, Tetris was the godfather of handheld gaming. It was the game that kept people buying the original Game Boy and made it a mainstay and made handheld gaming a thing. That's impact. That's a huge impact. I mean, Sony didn't even get into the gaming scene till later on down the road, and then that's when your guys came along. If Tetris and the games of that original generation weren't there to keep the ball rolling, to get things going, they may have never jumped into the pool. Hideo Kojima may have never made Metal Gear Solid, and you may not be here today.
It's true. Metal Gear Solid,
That's impact.
the more superior game, may have never been made, and to affect even more things.
That's our impact. Our impact helped create.
I think that's. Wait, well, is it my turn?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
I think that's
I'm done.
And I've kind of been there too, and I did the whole like PC gaming, blah blah blah, Warcraft.
You see the realm of speculation?
It is kind of speculation because Hideo Kojima does not list Tetris as any of his primary motivations or influences in his life or
movies
in his
and
career. It's been movies, it's been
novels.
film and television and novels. So I think we still get Metal Gear, and I think Tetris and the impact that it had on the Game Boy was fantastic, and it's been a wonderful supplement to console gaming, but it did not drive console gaming at any one point. At least since the 8-bit NES and the Master System. I think Nintendo and Sony still partner up. They still have their falling out. The PlayStation comes out, and Kojima makes Metal Gear. Metal Gear came out before Metal Gear Solid came out. I mean, Metal Gear on the Master System. There was actually 3 of them. One of them wasn't canon. He's like, "Wow, this one sucks so bad. I'm coming back. I'm going to do one." And then the original working title
Snake's
for Metal
Revenge.
Gear Solid was bad, so bad. Was Metal Gear 3, and then they decided to go with Metal Gear Solid because it was a play on one, the main character Solid Snake, and two, the fact that the polygons made the character solid. So it's. I don't think, and this is more of a rebuttal, and I'll let you kind of take on the reins after that. I don't believe that. Well, the impact of Tetris cannot be understated. Period. Just a juggernaut in the pantheon of what we do. I feel like its impact was felt minimally, not just on Metal Gear, but its genre and the core elements of what make Metal Gear great. I just feel are so far removed from.
I was just saying the fact that gaming was there for Metal Gear to be made.
Sure.
I was and direct.
Sure, yeah, and
influence.
while I think Tetris has a huge place in that, I don't think it was its impact on console gaming was. See, then we're talking Mario again, and I think if this was an argument of Mario versus Metal Gear,
Well,
you're 100% right that if Mario didn't land in the West the way that he did at the time that he did. Then Metal Gear doesn't
and this is why I specifically said the generation that Tetris was a part of, not just Tetris. But you can specifically cite Tetris for the success of handheld gaming.
Sure, yeah, absolutely, yeah, sure.
So on impact, according to OneUp.com, Metal Gear Solid cinematic style continues to influence modern action games such as Call of Duty, which is that's a big juggernaut, a modern juggernaut.
That was inspired by Brooks.
No. I'm saying that it inspired.
I was making a joke.
It spawned several sequels and spin-offs, as well as other projects in other media, comic book, motion comic, and novels. Movie adaptation was in limbo with Sony for a while with producer Avi Arad.
That never happened.
Yeah, because Avi Arad's a piece of shit.
And now I hope it doesn't because Kojima's not there no more.
The series has sold
Don't forget Tetris is going to be in pixels.
Series that does not help your case at all.
It's an Adam Sandler.
Movies.
Series has sold over 38.6 million units, and that was as of May of 2014. Metal Gear Solid was an eye-opening experience to millions of gamers. It showed just how vast and complicated video game characters, stories, and gameplay could be, and ultimately paved the way for some of today's most successful franchises, developers, and publishers. Assassin's Creed franchise, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Splinter Cell, Thief, those games all have direct influences from Metal Gear. Any game that relies on a narrative, a story-driven game, character-driven game, I think most of those can say that Metal Gear, on some level, has been an
So
inspiration.
we didn't have character-driven or
The-
story-driven games before Metal
Well,
Gear?
no, you didn't. To the level
it
of
changed
that
the
Metal Gear,
landscape,
the production value and the way that the characters were presented, it was presented as an interactive movie. And that I know that's become sort of a meme online with how much gameplay is actually in some of these games, with how long the cutscenes are. But it was an interactive movie. And another thing to talk about, just as an aside, one of the hallmark moments of the PlayStation 2 and its launch and the excitement leading up to that was the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 2. And the reason why that was considered one of like the hallmark moments of that generation and that system, one of the most successful home consoles of all time, is because of the success of Metal Gear Solid.
Let's all take a recap. Tetris was a very character-driven game.
Yes.
That T block was so versatile.
When you saw the T block come down,
No, when you saw that solid line, when you saw that solid line,
when you saw it come down, I'm losing my voice.
I thought he was going to
single-
Bob Ross mode.
A single tear. Because you always had like one block that you wanted, but you didn't want a block because that was too big.
Yeah.
You just needed one. And
T
you
did everything.
It's perfect. You didn't want the line block because fucking now you got this long ass line and you can't build anything around it.
Or the square, and you're just like, how am I going to
It's
put
fucking
this?
too huge. The T
In the
block.
corner. It's always the
Yeah.
corner.
I
Move
can't
it right
change.
over
We
the
think
corner.
on levels. We're above levels.
But that's our impact.
Yeah.
You guys okay? Just a reminder to vote, guys. It's
We don't include
exclamation point vote Tetris. There's Joe with his fingers, not his toes. And we have vote exclamation point vote space MGS for Metal Gear Solid.
Over here.
And we have some markers.
I was trying to find it. I feel like I'm in Nick Arcade.
fucking connect.
I'm trying to plug all the holes up. I'm sorry. Oh shit. Connect.
Where was Metal Gear Solid in Big Toys? I don't understand. Anyway, we're going to go to closing arguments. We're going to start with Mr. Rick and Mr. Mark.
Rick and Morty.
That's
I
all
didn't say
you.
Rick and Morty.
It's my favorite game of all time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on one second.
Sure.
Call time now. It's 12:33. I'm going to give you guys until 12:37 to make some votes. We're going to do closing arguments.
Yeah.
So does that sound fair?
Let's wrap it up.
Wait. You're
Strange
gonna do the
format.
votes first and then.
We should
What's
do
during closing
first.
arguments?
Closing arguments. Kill the
Because they can
votes.
sway them, man. Somebody could be like, you know what? I never thought about that. And then,
My world has changed.
I will say no.
Blue pill now.
My apologies.
Blue pill. Rick, your
Go ahead,
face.
Mark.
The impact, the scope, everything that Metal Gear Solid was on the platform that it was like lightning, just striking, and it came with the PlayStation 1, and it's the series' impact on Sony consoles and even Microsoft consoles and even PC later on can just not be understated, and it all really started with this game. And yeah, you can go back and revisit the originals as part of collections
Samanos.
that are available now, the Legacy Collection, which, it's pretty hard to find, but certain versions of Metal Gear Solid 3 came with it as well. But Metal Gear Solid was the one that started it all. It did spawn a remake because people were so eager to just experience that game again, and it was not very good.
it's probably going to get
Already
another
did
one.
that.
But yeah, and you know what? If it gets another on the Fox engine, great. Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation was what really kicked off, for me, in my humble opinion, the big budget AAA blockbuster game, and it set the bar and it set the tone
It's
for what
remarkable,
would be what you would expect to find of a game that you're going to pay full retail for. Things like Call of Duty. Everyone here's played a Call of Duty too, and that game was selling millions upon millions. 25 million people bought Black Ops 2.
Millions and millions.
Millions. I'm wearing a Macho Man shirt.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the cream.
You're wearing
This is the
Megadeth, he's
cream of
wearing
the crop.
Macho Man, he's wearing Kermit, I'm
Yeah.
wearing the Avengers. Okay, we all got shirts.
We're like a sharply
Okay.
dressed crew. Megadeth.
Megadeth.
And then you got
David
Dave.
Stain action.
And then there's Dave.
So,
Who doesn't love Kermit?
wow, I've lost my train of thought. Which is
Yeah,
great.
put the Taz of Tasmania. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gone. Damn, it's over. The
You-
dream is over.
Metal Gear Solid is when I played that game, it's when I became a man. So, there's that.
What? Okay, I got it. Call of Duty. You got everyone played that. The reason why
Call of Duty?
The reason why they have and other games have like actual like movie stars and have like brought actors
Kevin
in.
Spacey.
Yeah, and Mass Effect. Who was Elusive Man in Mass Effect 2?
There's
Shit.
Ray Liotta
Yo,
in
Mama.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 3.
I had that first.
No, wait, Vice City.
But the reason why like these games are attracting star power is because Metal Gear Solid. Sorry, Neil. Really invented games as movies.
Yeah.
And these big budget blockbusters, you'd go watch a Die Hard film and it'd be indistinguishable from the plot of a Call of Duty movie or a video game. And while some people are totally cool with that and agree with that, there are other people that may look at that and shed a single tear for gaming. But you know what? Metal Gear, as a franchise, over 25 years, still kicking. And that's, not as a puzzle game that you can play for 6 minutes and get your fix. This is a sit-down appointment commitment in gaming.
Immersion.
That people continue to make time for, and it is going to be... It has already left its mark, but once Metal Gear games, and as far as I'm considered, 5 is the last one, once those games have moved on and Kojima is officially done with the series, which by all accounts is happening, if you're going to shed a single tear, it's for that and for the legacy that Metal Gear Solid left behind.
All right, that's very well spoken. We're moving to Neil and Joe.
Hey, Mark, take your snake and put him in his box.
I didn't
And
challenge
then
anyone
drop
to a
that
WrestleMania
box
match.
because it's Tetris.
All right.
So I didn't challenge anyone to a WrestleMania match this week.
I'm
I'm not going to drop nothing.
No, man. Your snake's in his box. He's getting dropped because he's playing in a game of Tetris.
Is that it?
All it seems to say. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it's hard.
Oh man, my snake's hard right now.
Do you have anything to say, Rick?
Nah.
Nah.
All right, guys.
Just say it. It's fucking Tetris. Like, I don't know why this is a bad pick on your guys' part. You picked like Tetris, like the one game that everybody's played.
I don't remember the chat chick picking Tetris.
Actually,
definitely
it
picked
was
Tetris.
it was that guy.
You picked
that
Tetris?
guy right there picked Tetris.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This was one of those.
that bearded fellow.
So in respect to just the flaw of the fact that he's a hypocrite, he's
No,
he's on the side of
Because
the
I
thing.
also added Metal Gear.
No, you didn't. Metal Gear's Mark's.
No, I added Metal Gear. I thought
No.
No.
I think the whiteboard will tell you.
it was already on the list. That's why I didn't.
I
put
think I
Metal Gear.
added
Where's
Metal
the
Gear
whiteboard?
Solid.
He had Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
This was Metal Gear Solid, GoldenEye, Mass Effect 2,
Alright.
and Ocarina of Time.
It was already in the list.
The Ocarina
Come
of
on now.
Rhyme.
Yep.
What do you want from me? It was already in the list.
Tetris wasn't.
All right, guys.
Is that it?
We got time to
Yeah,
get some votes.
It's vote time.
Give us some
Vote
votes.
If you want to vote for Tetris,
Tetris.
it's exclamation point vote
Blocks.
space Tetris. There's Mr. Neil.
It's right up
Blocks.
above us.
And exclamation point vote MGS.
Don't vote for messages.
Those
No one
two
likes
guys over
messages.
there. Look at that. Right there.
I mean, he's like the Vanna White.
And we're gonna give you guys
Second time I got that
Until-
today.
12:42 to finish voting. So that's 3 minutes, guys. And I won't refresh until we're done.
Let me ask you guys something. We've never done this before, especially not after a talk show. But would you guys be down to do a raid if you guys are familiar with raiding? Basically, we're going to take... I'm going to explain. We're going to take everybody that's here, because we're almost at the end of the show, sadly. But everyone here, we're going to go over and just kind of hang out in another one of my friends' channel.
It's called Sharing the Love.
It's called Sharing the Love. Mr. Mangles91. If you guys are not familiar with him, I'll type his channel in the chat once we're done here. But let me know if you want to raid. If you do, sweet, we'll do it. If not, then we'll just host him.
Guys, even if you go over just to say hi.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing about Twitch is, you know what, we finish up and you can go say hi to someone else, and for smaller streamers like us, sometimes that'll make your night.
Right.
So I think that he would really appreciate that.
Raid hype? Awesome. Cool. Raid hype. Okay, it looks like people do want to raid.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Sounds
We had some cool people in the room.
Oh, I always want to raid. Awesome. Cool. All
Tetris votes in.
right. Go ahead and get those votes in.
Vote for your
All right, guys.
Tetris votes. Two
I
votes.
just-
Tetris
Metal Gear
votes in.
Solid.
Exclamation point, vote
Tetris.
space.
And where was
Tetris.
exclamation points
MGS.
really prominent?
Metal Gear!
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they were part of the English language long before Metal Gear.
No, I'm pretty sure that's where they were.
Yeah, but sometimes you use them upside down.
That's Spanish. That's the Spanish language.
You know,
That's
that's their
you
problem.
are the coolest.
He's
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, you're cool.
Yeah, man. You're gonna raid, right?
We like you. Look, if you're in the chat right now, we have a pretty high opinion of you as a human being.
This is true.
It's true. I like you, Sam Knows. Cool peeps.
If you voted for Tetris, I like you. If you voted for Metal Gear, I hate you, and I'm going to find you, and I'm going to kill you.
If you voted for Tetris, I like
Liam
you. If you
Neeson
voted
style.
for Metal Gear, I love you.
If you voted for Metal Gear, you like the Boston Bomber and Mark.
Oh,
Look, you can like me.
Oh my
Like, it's
God.
not mutually exclusive. Like, these
Vote
two
for that
things can
guy.
occur at the same time. Like, you don't have to like that guy to like me. Look, we might have been, like, from the same general area geographically, but that's okay. Now vote MGS.
So how much time we got left?
Things go boom, baby.
It's over, actually.
Oh.
It just
Look, someone tipped some Russian. That means he likes Tetris.
Refresh. Refresh.
Let's seize it.
Let's hit it.
I don't know what color we are.
We are green.
MGS
Tetris.
is red and Tetris is green.
Tetris took the win.
It is 31.3 to 37.5
Wow.
in favor of
Damn.
Tetris.
The comeback, baby.
Corey in the house, or Neil's toe, was the and they were.
I got as many votes as
very
Metal Gear
close.
Solid, damn it.
No, Corey in the house did. Your foot and Corey in the house are of equal quality.
Good work, Mr. Joe.
Thank you, sir.
All the Metal Gear, good game enough, all that stuff, but Tetris.
Great game.
And we got a last bit of Tetris.
They're all great games. That's why they're on the list.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's the whole point. We just have personal bias.
Oh,
All right, guys.
It's Wade time?
It is raid time.
Put that shit in the.
I'm
in the
doing
chat.
it.
Where are we going?
And before you disappear on us guys, don't forget to come back on Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern
Yes,
time.
please.
For the
G-Cube
G-Cube Live, which is more or less you're gonna get a pretty similar cast, but it's more or less talking current events and
Bullshit.
What's
Lots
new
of
in
bullshit.
gaming?
Those,
and-
by the way? No? Okay.
We're also going to be testing out some new breakers in the show, like we did earlier with the best of G Cube.
we are constantly reforming the format, and
Reinventing
you know what?
everything.
We're trying to make this work for us, make it work for you, and let us know what you think. If you haven't stopped by before, please come check us out, and if you have before, come check out some of the changes we have in store for you this Saturday.
And for all you streamers and other game players out there, we are going to be soon taking submissions of your gameplay videos to put up in our little breakers. So you may see yourself featured on G Cubed if you submit those.
If you have anything worth sharing, and it's either already on YouTube via like PlayStation or Xbox, the share features, or you have it on your computer, don't be afraid to send that to us so we can feature that in upcoming episodes of G Cubed Live and the Prono Show.
All right. If I could, I would rate everyone. Awesome. So the guys, the link is up there. Go to his chat. Don't say anything until we say something first. And we're gonna go bring some love over there. I really appreciate everybody that came out tonight. We had a really, really good showing for tonight. Again, thank you very much. But let's go spread some
See you
love
all
to
over
Mr.
there.
Mabels.
All right, we'll see you guys later this weekend on Saturday.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.